Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another deadline stream. FPL Raptor here, and today should be an interesting one. I still don't have a clue what I'm doing. This seems to be a regular occurrence that I rock up to my own deadline stream where I'm supposed to be helping you guys with no idea what I'm doing with my own team, but I feel like it makes it slightly more entertaining at the same time. So do say hello, let me know where you're tuning in from, let me know what you're up to right now. I know there are all sorts of different time zones all over the place. Everyone's always doing different things at different times. So let me know if you're eating dinner. Let me know if you're laying in bed, recovering from a hangover. Maybe you're out in the sun. I wish I was in the sun. I need a tan. I look very pale. I'm essentially a ghost at this stage. And so good to see lots of the regulars in the chat. I can see Cheekstar, Pete, Josh, good to see you. Mr. Curry, Flapjack Gaming, Lukey Boy. Obviously, the main man Marcus here as always. Cool, so many people. FPL Harry in the chat. Have a fantastic holiday. FPL Harry's always on holiday. Not a serious FPL YouTuber, clearly. No, have a good holiday, mate. Andre in the chat, good to see you. Immortal Technique, good to see you. OnlyFans, Ross, we'll discuss OnlyFans post-deadline. I feel like that's not a discussion for 9 a.m. on a Saturday. That's a discussion for 11 a.m. on a Saturday, I think. Yeah, I feel like it's going to be an interesting one because there are various things we can do with our team. We've got to make the decisions around whether we want to make the sideways switch with our Arsenal assets. Is it a sideways switch? Do you sell Martinelli for a hit? Is it time to move on Ben White? Or do we think he'll still start and get 60 minutes in both games? Does it matter? Do we even expect Arsenal to keep a clean sheet? Then we've also had a double game week 27 announcement, which we'll discuss today. It just feels a little bit like there are so many blanks and doubles coming up. We've got to try and navigate all of them. And we've only got a couple of chips to do so. So it's incredibly important at the moment, chip strategy, I think. And just trying to work out how we can navigate all of the upcoming blanks and doubles. I will have a video out Sunday or Monday where I go through that in more detail. So definitely subscribe for that. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting few weeks in FPL to see which strategy people pick. And I think as a result, teams will start to diverge a little bit and we won't see the exact same team every week, which would be nice. I've seen a few people on their wildcard as well, which is interesting. I don't think it's a bad week to wildcard anyway. Hey mate, just here to see you get your shirt off. You have a fantastic chin. Thank you. I hate my chin. Would you start Tony or Andreas? I would start. Interesting. So Miss Yelena FPL has exactly the same debate for herself. And I couldn't give a very good answer for this. So chat, let us know. Would you start... God, that's a loud truck outside. Would you start Tony or Andreas? Obviously, Tony's got Arsenal. Andreas has Forest. Forest have actually been one of the best teams in the Premier League in 2023, though. So, I don't know. It's not an easy one. It's not an easy one. Start Andreas on Yonto. I feel like... Again, that's not an easy one. So I went to watch the Manchester United Leeds game live, and Yonto was absolutely unbelievable. And like I said, Forest have been really, really good. And Manchester United haven't necessarily been great. We don't have Casemiro. I'd be tempted to start Yonto there. I feel like Andreas Tony's a trickier one because Arsenal's so good. But Man United haven't been great when Casemiro's not played. So I'd be tempted by Yonto. He looked so good. Passed the eye test amazingly. Every time he got the ball, he looked like he was going to score or do something with it. Right. We're wasting no time. Let's get into it. So this is my team. I've got one free transfer and 0.9 million in the bank. And I don't know what I'm doing. So thanks for tuning in. Until next time. No, I don't have a clue. So, well, I do have a clue. I've narrowed it down to a few different options. It just comes down to which Arsenal assets do I want to own? Do I want to start switching them around? Do I want to take a hit? And am I thinking about wildcarding maybe a little bit earlier now? Because I think the value in bringing in Arsenal assets for other Arsenal assets. Let's say you bring in Ødegaard for Martinelli and then maybe take out Ben White to get Saka in. The value in moving around those Arsenal assets is that for the foreseeable future, whether that be the sort of next 10, 12, 15 game weeks, the idea would be that you get the best Arsenal assets for a longer period of time. But with double game week 27 being announced, I think there's some merit to discussing a wild card in game week 27 now. And maybe free hitting in game week 28. Again, I'll discuss that strategy in a little bit later on and also in a video next week. If that's the case, if you are going to wildcard in Game Week 27, I feel like there is potentially less value in doing a switch from Martinelli to Ødegaard and from White to Gabriel and switching around these Arsenal assets, because you're only going to have this team up to Game Week 26 and then you can wildcard in 27. So I almost feel like you would kind of need to have a little bit of thinking your strategy, or do you just attack it anyway? Because you've still got double 25, a decent fixture in 24, and then double 23 and double 25. So you've still got 5 fixtures in the next 3 weeks. So maybe it is still worth switching around the Arsenal assets. I don't know. Ian, good luck this weekend, mate. You too, mate. Hope you have a great weekend. Your team was looking good. I think you should have a green arrow, fingers crossed. Mr. Curry, I just watched Australia lose to India in cricket. I don't watch cricket myself, but it depends if you're Australian or Indian. I guess you're either happy or very, very sad. I'm in a very fortunate position. My headache is start Tony or Andreas. A lot of people have got sort of someone or Andreas, and I've got a very similar situation. As you can see, I've got Bamford and Shaw on the bench. We'll discuss that in a bit. And I've got Andreas and James in my starting 11. So I've got some tricky benching decisions as well. So chat, first thing I'd like to know, let me know what is your Arsenal triple up. So just type in the chat, what is your Arsenal triple up? So obviously I've got White, Martinelli and Nketiah. Maybe type what your Arsenal triple up will be. If you've already got basically confirmed that you're going to do Martinelli to Ødegaard, you can put Ødegaard. So what is your Arsenal triple up going to look like? As an England cricket fan, there is simply nothing better than seeing Australia getting hammered. Okay, I don't know. I've got absolutely no idea about cricket, I'll be honest. I know the sport, I've played the sport, but I don't regularly watch cricket. Right, I'm just looking at everyone's triple up. A lot of people on Saka, that worries me as someone that doesn't currently have Saka. Saka and Nketiah are quite popular. Cool. A lot of people have Saka and Nketiah. I wonder if it's because it's my stream and I already have Nketiah, but I didn't think Nketiah was that popular. Oh, some people have Saka, Ødegaard, and Nketiah. I think that is the triple up. And I can get to that triple up, but it's going to cost a -8. So if I want to take a -8, I can get to the triple attack of Ødegaard, Saka, and Nketiah. But is Martinelli even an issue? Like, do we want to sell Martinelli ahead of... I think Martinelli is an issue long-term, which is kind of what I was trying to get at in my videos this week. I don't think you necessarily want to keep Martinelli long-term, because I think unless Trossard and ESR get injured or they look terrible when they come on, I think he will continue to... Trossard and ESR, when he's back fit completely, will begin to take minutes off of Martinelli. But in Game Week 23, I wouldn't be shocked to see Martinelli start both and get 60 to 70 minutes in both. So maybe getting Saka in for Fernandes is the priority and not doing Martinelli to Ødegaard. I don't know. But I do think that the ideal Arsenal triple-up is probably the triple attack. Martinelli to Saka and Rodrigo to Mahrez for a -4. Yeah, that sounds like a nice set of moves. You're making 2 big upgrades there, I think. Obviously removing an injured player as well. Sounds virtually perfect, Mo. How'd the date go, Ross? We'll talk about that post-deadline. I want to get through these FPL questions first. But yeah, if you want to stick around for any non-FPL chat, that will happen post-deadline, 11 a.m. So, Ross, my man, Shaw or Tony? That's a tough one, isn't it? I would probably go Tony there because I think Manchester United will concede. As you can see, Shaw's on my bench. But the EO play, the safe play, would be to play Shaw because he's like 80% owned, whereas Tony's only going to be like 30% owned. So if you want to play safe, go Shaw. I feel like Tony, obviously being on penalties, Arsenal could concede. It's a difficult one. I don't expect much from either. I wouldn't be surprised if either blank, but I'd probably lean Tony there. Are you going to -8? I don't know. Right, so let me quickly talk you through my potential transfer options. I'll go back over this as well, but just to chat through. So the first thing in my team that I need to decide is who I'm starting, right? Because if I just do Martinelli to Ødegaard or something like that, or a simple move, I've got Bamford and Shaw on the bench and Andreas and James in the starting 11. So I need to start 2 of James, Andreas, Bamford and Shaw. One of them needs to be a defender, so I can't start Andreas and Bamford. So I need to start one of James and Shaw and then one of the 3 of Andreas, Bamford, Shaw. So let me know which of those 2 you would start and which of those 2 you would bench. But then obviously the transfers might affect that slightly. So the straightforward transfer, which is nice and simple, it's probably what most people would suggest. It's probably the thing that I should be doing, is just keeping it simple. I've already got triple City. I've got triple Arsenal. I don't need to necessarily rush players in and out. And I just do Martinelli to Ødegaard. I've got 0.2 in the bank after doing that. Nice and simple move. I don't need to take a hit. I have Ødegaard and Nketiah, who are 2 of the best Arsenal assets. Ben White is fine for the time being. Could become an issue long term, but we're fine for now. And the team's looking strong. I've still got, like I said, triple City. I've got the triple Arsenal. I've got Rashford and Fernandes against Leeds. I've got a decent defence as well. The team would look super strong. So that's the first option. The other option I've got is a -4. So I didn't discuss this in yesterday's video. It was actually quite a few people in the comments suggesting it, and I don't necessarily dislike it, is actually doing White to someone like a Kilman or a Dawson. I think I would go Dawson for the attacking threat, but Kilman is like £0.5 million cheaper. So I'd have to think like a Leeds defender or a Tarkowski I could go for instead. And then actually doing Fernandes to Saka. I like this for a couple of reasons. Number one, I get to keep Martinelli for one more week because I do think he'll be okay in 23. I think it's more longer term that there's an issue. I get a triple Arsenal attack now. I remove a defender, and I don't think this is a great double defensively for Arsenal. Long term, I think they're good defensively, but this double, I could see Tony scoring or Brentford scoring, and I think Man City will score. And I get Saka, who's probably one of the best captaincy options in Game Week 25. And I get a double Game Week 25 player in someone like Dawson or Tarkowski. So I like this as an option. It also gives me 2.4 million in the bank, which allows me to do Bamford to Darwin in one move. So, and then I could also do De Bruyne to Salah if I want to. So I could go into Game Week 25 and do a double change of De Bruyne and Bamford to Darwin and Salah. I know a lot of people won't want Liverpool attackers, but it is a nice double. I wouldn't mind doing that. So I like that. That's a -4 hit. The other option I've got is doing that, but then making the extra transfer of Martinelli to Ødegaard. Right. So I suppose these can be considered separate stuff. Do you like the -4? I can do the -4 here. And if I want to do another -4, I can switch Martinelli to Ødegaard. And then I know this is a -8. I would have 1.7 in the bank, which is at the moment enough to do Bamford to Darwin. But if there is a price rise or fall either way, I'd be priced out. So I could just do it instead of Dawson, just to give myself enough flexibility. I could do Kilman or Tarkowski. So it'd be nice and simple, something like that. And then that would give me 2.2 in the bank, enough to do Bamford to Darwin. It would give me Ødegaard, Saka and Nketiah, De Bruyne and Haaland. The defence is looking strong. I think that -8, I know I don't think you need to take a -8 with my team, but it would put me in kind of the perfect position moving forward. And even if I don't want to do Bamford to Darwin, it's still 2.2 in the bank. I could do like Luke Shaw to Trent. I've got loads of options there of what I can do with this team with 2.2 million in the bank. So what do we think, chat? What do we think? I think the team's in a good position regardless of whether I do a free transfer, a -4 or a -8. But the -8 just really sets me up, and it gives me that Ødegaard, Saka and Nketiah triple up, which I think is just perfect for the upcoming weeks. White to Gabriel or Martial to Felix Mitrovic Nunez? Probably Martial. I like Felix a lot, but I would probably go Martial to one of Mitrovic or Darwin would be my move there. A lot of people saying I should... A lot of people disagreeing on the benching decisions as well. I might have to run a poll at some point. I think obviously a lot of people are going to say I should start Luke Shaw because they own Luke Shaw. So it's a tricky one to try and work out if it's because you think Luke Shaw is the best option or if it's just because you own Luke Shaw and you're starting Luke Shaw. Like, not a lot of people... Reece James is 0.6% owned. Bamford is 0.6% owned. So I think a lot of people won't suggest starting those because they don't own them. That's a really nice team, Mr. Curry. Yeah, really nice. You've got pretty much the perfect team there. I guess if you had Saka in there as well, it would be perfect. But yeah, it's a really strong team. Flapjack Gaming says, would you start Almiron or Lingard? And do you think that Luke Shaw and Kilman was a good idea? Almiron or Lingard? I would start Almiron. And do I think Luke Shaw for Kilman was a good idea? Selling Luke Shaw for Kilman? Yeah, absolutely. Because you get... Obviously, you get 2 extra fixtures in Game Week 25. And potentially, we don't know yet with Wolves, but potentially Wolves could play in Game Week 28 as well. So you could be getting 3 extra fixtures in the space of a few weeks. So yeah, I like Kilman in for Luke Shaw. Absolutely. The other thing to consider quickly around doing Bruno to Saka, I can do that move in Game Week 25, of course. In Game Week 23 and 24, Saka does have 1 extra fixture, but the extra fixture is technically Man City. Bruno has Leeds and Leicester. Do I feel that comfortable that Saka will outscore Bruno when Bruno has Leeds and Leicester? Bruno actually had better data than Rashford in the double game week as well. Bruno's playing very well. I guess I'm not even that confident that Saka outscores Bruno. But I feel like he has more potential to. An extra fixture is an extra fixture, even against Man City. If he gets anything in that game, all of a sudden he's 1 or 2 extra returns above Bruno, and then they've got a straight shootout across the 2 fixtures. But of course, you also have to take into account the fact that it's for a hit. So I would need Saka to outscore Bruno by more than 4 points across the next few. Otherwise, I could have potentially just done it for free in Game Week 25. So that's something else to think about. Thoughts on starting Matoma or Tony? I would start Matoma. Looks so good at the moment. Crystal Palace haven't been great defensively this season. I'd start Matoma. Father submitted your team. Ward, Trippier, Shaw, Botman, KDB, Rashford, Saka, Erdegaard, Nketiah, Haaland, Tony. What do you think? Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, Tony long-term could prove an issue, although he doubles in 27 now, which we'll discuss in a second. You've got really nice double Newcastle defence, the best Arsenal triple up. Looks like the perfect team. FPL the Mac, morning Ross. Not really sure where to go with my FPL. Thinking of KDB to Mahrez and Mitrovic to Kane. Already got triple Arsenal. Keep up the good work. Well, as long as you're happy with the triple Arsenal, I don't dislike that. I think Mahrez and KDB are virtually identical at the moment. I do think that if I had to predict one of KDB and Mahrez to be benched in double game week 23, I would predict Mahrez. I don't think KDB will be benched again, mainly because he's benched against teams that play with like a back 3 or a back 5. And neither Villa nor Arsenal do that. So I think KDB will play both. I think Mahrez probably will, but that's a little bit of a risk. Mitrovic to Kane is an upgrade, but then Mitrovic has an okay fixture. So I don't dislike that. I just think that KDB and Mitrovic out has the potential to go horribly wrong in a double, especially when Mitrovic's fixture's fine. KDB has the 2 fixtures. It's fine. It feels a little bit sideways, but I don't dislike it. Bruno to KDB or Martinelli to Erdegaard. I can't do both for a -4, unfortunately. That's a tough one. I'd probably go Bruno to KDB because you get an extra fixture. If you expect Martinelli to start both, the first option gives you an extra fixture. Martinelli to Erdegaard doesn't give you an extra fixture. It just gives you a slightly better player. So I would probably do Bruno to KDB and then maybe look to do Erdegaard in for Martinelli in Game Week 24 or Game Week 25. If you're enjoying today's stream, please do drop a like on it. 3,000 people watching live, which I appreciate, but only 200 likes. So please drop a like, subscribe to the channel as well. Like I said, on Sunday or Monday, I will be doing a video going through chip strategy and all of the upcoming blanks and doubles. So if you've not yet subscribed, make sure to subscribe, turn the notifications on, because that video will give you a bit of an idea about how to approach the upcoming weeks, because there are tons of blanks and doubles coming up. I guess we can just quickly talk about that. So we had double game week 25 announced. That is a blank and a double. So very, very quickly, because I know we've talked about it a lot. We've got Arsenal, Everton, Liverpool and Wolves all doubling in Game Week 25. And then Manchester United, Newcastle, Brentford and Brighton all blanking in Game Week 25. So we've got 4 teams doubling, 4 teams blanking. However, we've now had double Game Week 27 announced. The issue with double Game Week 27 is none of the teams that double in 25 double in 27. And then we've also got blank Game Week 28 and double Game Week 29. So, double 25, double 27, blank 28, double 29. In the space of 5 game weeks, we've got 4 blanks and doubles. And it's going to be very tricky to navigate because most of the teams that double in one week could blank in the other. And those that blank maybe double. And then there are some teams that don't double or blank. And it can become really tricky. And then you've got teams like Manchester United and Manchester United. Is Manchester United the only team? I think Manchester United the only team that probably going to blank in both 25 and 28. Obviously, Brighton will probably as well, but then they'll double in 27 and then probably double in 29. It's going to be really tricky to try and navigate all of these weeks. I did put a tweet out. I'll try and find it in a minute with all of the upcoming blanks and doubles, but it makes it a lot trickier now to try and work out when to play that wild card. Because like, if I show you now the fixtures for double game week 27, Brentford, Brighton, who are 2 of the teams that blank in 25, and then Brighton are likely to blank in 28 as well, will then double in 27, and then Southampton and Palace. But I feel like they are less important to target. The fixtures aren't as good, and the teams aren't as good either. But Brentford and Brighton in particular, the likes of, for these fixtures, Everton and Southampton, and then Leeds and Palace, I feel like having the likes of Tony and me would be really nice. Having the likes of Matoma and Estepinian would be great as well. So, but then you can't own them for 25. So this is why I'm starting to think dead end up to 25, 26. I just make transfers up to 26 in mind. Wildcard in 27. Load up on Brentford, Brighton. You can even load up on some Manchester United players as well. Newcastle too. Load up on all of the players that you want longer term across the remainder of the season. Free hit in game week 28 because again, Brighton will be blanking. Manchester United will probably be blanking. Man City will as well. There are a few teams that blank in 28 that you'd probably want on your wildcard. So wildcard 27, free hit in 28. And then you could deal with your bench boost a little bit later. That's a potential strategy. And if so, we're pulling the wildcard forward quite a bit. Because I was currently planning a wildcard in game week 33. But this makes me think, actually, to get ahead, it might be worth wildcarding in 27. So yeah, those are the ones. Blank 25 that we know about now. Double 27. We've also got blank game week 28 and double game week 29. So there's a lot to navigate. I will do a video on it. But that's just some of my early thoughts. And it does change my strategy slightly. Because I just think that it might be worth wildcarding into this double game week here because you're going to want Brentford and Brighton players longer term going into blank game week 32 and all of this stuff. So let me know what you think of that strategy. But yeah, there's the potential there to wildcard a little bit earlier. Hey Ross, Cucurella or Ream, Tony or Andreas, Nottingham Forest at home. I would go, I think I'm just about leaning Andreas over Tony, but I think that's very, very close. Just hope that Andreas is on pens. If I knew that Andreas wasn't on pens, I might be tempted to say Tony. And then, what was your other question? Cucurella or Ream? I would go Cucurella myself and just hope that he starts. Bench Shaw or Andreas Pereira? I would bench... I'm benching Luke Shaw at the moment, but I've not fully decided on that. But yeah, at the moment, I'm benching Luke Shaw ahead of Andreas Pereira. Should I move David De Gea to Kepa or Pickford? I think you can keep De Gea for now. I don't think that's a requirement this week. But yeah, for game week 25, if you need a keeper, I would do it. But I feel like there are probably better transfers to use this week. Are we going to get early team news on Chelsea? We may well do so. If I do, then I'll let you know. But that would be useful, obviously, to decide whether to start Reece James or not. But we didn't get it until really last minute last time. It was Sam that tweeted it, I think. So I'll keep an eye on Sam's Twitter and see if he tweets anything about Reece James starting. Would you get Kilman if you already have Bueno? I wouldn't look at that as... I would just look at them individually. Do you like Kilman as an option? Then go for it. But if you don't want to double up on the Wolves defense, if you are looking at as a double up, then just go for Tarkowski instead. I think they're equally fine. They're equally fine. I just think that the fixtures are slightly better for Kilman up to 25. In 25, they're slightly better as well. The only advantage for Tarkowski is we know that Tarkowski will play in game week 28, whereas we don't know that at the moment yet for Kilman. I think it's basically like a 50-50 chance that he blanks in 28. Started off the week wanting Ramsdale, then morphed into seeking a City defender and ended up looking at Badiashile. Is that how you pronounce it? Badiashile? Very strange week. Yeah, Chelsea defence, I think, is fine. I think even if you've got Kepa, a double up's not terrible. I've got Kepa and James, and I think that Chelsea are a team that may be worth investing in. They've defended relatively well in recent weeks, and they've got some cheaper options. It's not just Reece James as an option. What is Sam's Twitter? I can copy it in here. .2 seconds. This is actually no. I'll just show you, can't I? That'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it? What am I doing? I want to pull you over there. I want to pull you over there. And then I want to do that. Sorry. God, you'd think I'd get used to live streaming by now. This is Sam's Twitter. So it's C345 Sam. He posts early team news all the time. But I don't know. He doesn't always get the early team news, but he is good for like various teams. It's not like he'll only get news for one team. So yeah, give him a follow. He might get us something potentially. If it's not him, then it'll be Team News and Ticks, who everyone probably knows by now anyway. But I will let you know. If you stay on this deadline stream, don't leave. There's the reason to stay. Then I will let you know. But we'll see what happens with it all. I guess people want to know about Felix, Mudryk, and then maybe Reece James. And then that's probably it, isn't it? I don't think there's much we want to find out for Chelsea. Maybe West Ham. I don't think anyone owns West Ham anyway. Bench Botman or Shaw? I would bench Luke Shaw. I'd play Botman. I don't think Manchester United will keep a clean sheet without Casemiro at Ellen Road. I just can't see it. Can't see it at all. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I would love us to keep... I don't even care about my team, my FPL team. I'm obviously a Man United fan, so I would love that, but I can't see it at the moment. So what do we think, chat? Sorry, let's go back to my team quickly. Which of the options do you like? Martinelli to Ødegaard, option 1. Option 2 is this one here. White and Fernandes to Kilman and Saka, or Tarkowski and Saka. So my triple up would be Saka, Martinelli and Nketiah. So I would keep Martinelli for one more week. Or the other option, like I said, is to also do Martinelli to Ødegaard for an extra -4. So option 3 is that -8. So either Martinelli to Ødegaard, you've got White and Fernandes to Saka and Kilman/Tarkowski, or doing that plus the extra transfer of Martinelli to Ødegaard for a -8. I think those are my 3 options that I've narrowed it down to. I think I would go for a Wolves defender, just because, like I said, I might not even make it to Game Week 28 with this team. I may well wildcard in 27, and I think that Wolves are better for the next few weeks, whereas Everton are better longer term. Because Everton don't blank in 28, and they don't blank in 32, but as it looks at the moment, I don't think I'm going to make it to Game Week 32, 33 without playing a wildcard. So I don't think that's an issue for me. So I think I would prefer a Wolves defender now to an Everton defender after that double announcement. So let me know which of those 3 options you prefer. And yeah, I still need to think myself which of the 3 I prefer, to be honest. I think all 3 have merit for sure. Yeah, I could poll it. Let me do that poll. Start a poll. I don't know if I've got... like, YouTube only let you have a certain amount of like words in it. So let me do... Martinelli to White. Then what was it? No. Oh, what am I doing? Mahrez. So I know it's just a simple mistake. I can't begin to tell you how many comments I got on my team selection video telling me, why have you not considered Mahrez? You should be buying Mahrez. Why have you not considered doing Fernandes Mahrez? I've got Ederson in goal. I've already got 3 City assets. So I can't do Mahrez unless I sell De Bruyne or I sell Ederson. And I just don't think that makes sense. I'm not confident that Mahrez starts both. And I'm not confident enough that he would outscore either Ederson or De Bruyne. I feel like sorting out my Arsenal assets makes more sense than sorting out my City assets, personally. Sorry, I'm just getting this poll going. Oh, God, I can't. There's not enough. Right, White, Bruno, Martinelli. I'm going to have to do it like that. So, Martinelli to Ødegaard for free. White, Bruno to Kilman, Saka for a -4. Or White, Bruno, Martinelli to Kilman, Saka, Ødegaard for a -8. So, I guess option 3 is a combination of option 1 and option 2. Option 3 is option 1. That's interesting. Okay. So we've got option 1, which is the free. Option 2, the -4. And then option 3 is basically option 1 and option 2 put together for a -8. There we go. So there is a poll in the chat now. If you'd like to help me with my decisions this week, feel free to vote on that poll. -4 max is the best. But my name's Ross. Yeah, -4... I just feel like I do still want Ødegaard, though. So maybe I just do Fernandes to Ødegaard, but I also feel like Saka being on pens in a double game week feels quite nice. Oh, it's going to be one of those polls, isn't it? I should have known. It's going to be one of those polls where you just don't help me at all. You should get Mahrez. Stop it. If I could get Mahrez, I would get Mahrez. But I can't get Mahrez without selling one of my City assets. And it just doesn't make sense for me to do so, I don't think. With all of the blanks and doubles we've got coming up, I feel like I would end up selling Mahrez soon anyway. I may well sell De Bruyne to get Salah. For -4, would you do Tony to Nketiah or Bruno to KDB? Tony to Nketiah or Bruno to KDB, or do both for a -8? I feel like Tony to Nketiah would be fine. If you want to do Bruno to KDB for an extra -4, go for it. I don't feel like that's required. But across the next 3 weeks, it probably will pay off. I'd be tempted to do both for a -8. I'm feeling quite hit-seeking. If I've missed your super chat, it was because, and I've spoken about this before, and it makes me sound terrible. If it's like a £1 or £2 super chat, it gets lost in the chat, and unless I'm looking at the chat at that specific point, it sort of goes. If it's longer than that, then it will stay highlighted and I won't miss it. So I apologize, but please stop spamming to check the super chat because it's gone. When looking at my game week history on the app, there is a column with a pound symbol for each week with different amounts. What does this mean? When looking at my game week history on the app, there is a column with pound symbol for each week with different amounts. That's their value at that specific week for that player. Oh, or that's your team value, probably. Oh, yeah, for your game week history, I'll show you. If this is what you're referring to here. This here is your squad value. God, look at all those look at all these red arrows. Jesus Christ. I was 149. No, where is it? There we go. In game week 10, I was 149th in the world. Now I'm 8.3k. What happened? I blame you, chat. I've told you. When anything goes well, it's me. When anything goes poorly, it's all your fault. And whatever happened here was not good. It was not good. But yeah, that's your squad value. If that's what you're talking about. Don't love any of the options in the poll. Prep for 25 with Shorter Tarkovsky or else roll. I don't need to do 25 now, though, because I've only got 4 players that blank in 25, and I've got game week 24 and 25, so I've got 2 transfers to sell 1 player, and then I can upgrade as well. So I'm probably looking at the moment, doing something like in game week 24 roll, and then in game week 25, it's probably going to be something like, I don't know, Fernandez, and I could do like Fernandez and Shaw. No, I wouldn't do that. I don't know what I'm planning at the moment. I would want to get in 1 Liverpool attacker and then maybe a decent defender of some kind. But I don't have a massive issue at the moment for game week 25, I don't think. So at the moment in the poll, 43% of you would just do Martinelli to Ødegaard for free. 25% of you like the -4 of White and Bruno to Kilman and Saka. And then 32% of you like White, Bruno Martinelli to Kilman, Saka, Ødegaard. So it's a pretty close poll, but most of you at the moment telling me to probably just do the simple Martinelli to Ødegaard switch. I think you should get Matoma in, Ross. Yeah, Matoma just causes an issue for me in game week 25. And who do I sell? Andreas. But then Andreas is a decent option in game week 25. He's fine as a bench option. It gives me a benching headache moving forward. And I don't know that Matoma is that much better this week as an option in comparison to Andreas. I think he is a better option. It just feels like I'm chasing points there with Matoma a little bit. I'll definitely have Matoma for double game week 27. Of course I will. But now, I don't know. Advice for your team, Ross. KDB to Mahrez and upgrade Andreas to Ødegaard or Saka. I can't do that because I've already got triple Arsenal. So I then have to sell one of my Arsenal assets. Rashford out in 27 for me, Matoma in. Yeah, that's a good option as well. But again, Marcus, I might be wildcarding in game week 27. Why not wildcard now? I just don't think I can build a team that I'm happy with. You've got to think, I would build a team that I'm happy with now, but then, like I said, let me find my tweet where I listed all the doubles just so that you can sort of see it visually. Also, make sure to follow my Twitter as well. I'll spam it in the chat for you if you want to daily musings As always, I post far too much on Twitter. Go follow the Twitter. Here it is. So we've got double game week 23. I don't know why. When you click on a tweet now, it makes it smaller. That's a new Twitter feature. But we've got double game week 23, blank double 25, double 27, blank 28, double 29, blank 32, double 34, and double 37. Trying to deal with that while carding in 23 is going to be virtually impossible. However, I feel like 23 is fine. I don't need to wildcard this week. My team's perfectly fine. 25, my team's in a good position. Where it becomes an issue is 27, I'm not in a good position because I have no Brentford and I have no Brighton. And I can't really bring in Brentford and Brighton players because they blank in 25. So I'm now in a position where I'm probably unable to get Brentford and Brighton players until 26, 27. That's assuming I have no other issues with my team. Then you've also got to think, I've then going into blank game week 28, probably with 1 or 2 United assets and 1 or 2 other assets that blank. For example, City are likely to blank too. Then we go into game week 29. I could free hit in this week, but then that means I've got to somehow deal with these 2 and all of these without a free hit. So I'm starting to think that this little period here is quite critical to having a good season, whereas before I was really focusing on this period here. Does that make sense? So in my head, I was thinking that the time to make up points and the time to be really explosive was in and around double game week 34, playing a bench boost and wildcarding in and around that. And now I'm starting to think, actually, maybe this is the spell here. Because if you wildcard in game week 27 and bring in Brentford and Brighton players and maybe load up on Man United and Newcastle players, you can do. Newcastle obviously play in 28, but Man United wouldn't. So you can load up on players that blank in 28. You don't have to worry about your City assets blanking too. So you wildcard a perfect team in there. Free hit in 28. You'd have a good team for 29 because you've wildcarded with double game week 29 in mind. Blank game week 32 might be slightly difficult to deal with. And then you would just bench boost in one of these 2 weeks here. So you might have to sacrifice your team slightly for double game week 34. But remember, you would have some transfers as well to start building towards that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just starting to think that this little period here, 27 to 29, might be something that is attackable with free hit and wildcard. And it might leave you a little bit weak at the back end, but might be worth it. I can't remember where that chat came from, but that's currently what I'm thinking at the moment. Flexbox, none roll. Do White to Kilman and Martinelli to Erdegaard next week. You already have triple Arsenal, so you're covered and you can reassess for next game week. Yeah, I could do that. But if I'm going to do White to Kilman and Martinelli to Erdegaard next week, I might as well do it ahead of this double for a -4. I don't feel like I don't feel like that move is much better. I understand what you're saying, that I can reassess, but I don't think that much information is going to change necessarily. I guess if Martinelli gets 90 minutes in both, or Trossard gets injured, then of course that will change. But generally, I think these are moves I want to make anyway, so I feel like they're better to get out of the way now. Maybe not. You could well be right. Or wait until next week and do White to Kilman and Bruno to Erdegaard. Yeah, that might be slightly better because I'm getting rid of Bruno. I don't know. I'll have a little bit of a think over the next, what have we got, hour and 20 minutes. But I feel like I'm going to make at least a move this week. Rolling's not an option for me because I feel like Martinelli to Erdegaard is a good transfer. And if I don't want to take a hit, then I'll just do that. Need some advice, mate. Game week 23, Bruno to Mahrez or De Bruyne? Game week 23, Bruno to Mahrez or De Bruyne? Game week 25, De Bruyne to /Mahrez to Salah. Already have triple Arsenal, Erdegaard, Saka, Gabriel. Great Arsenal triple up, Jay. I think that's absolutely fine. It's your pick for Mahrez versus De Bruyne. If they both play a similar amount of minutes, at the moment, I would back Mahrez to outscore De Bruyne. If they don't play a similar amount of minutes, then I would, of course, go for the one that you expect to play more minutes. I think in this double, De Bruyne will get more minutes than Mahrez. Long term, I don't know, because Mahrez does look very nailed at the moment. But Foden's coming back. If Foden plays well and Grealish plays well, do we have the opportunity to play Foden out on the right? Bernardo Silva could play on the right in a game such as against Arsenal. I don't know. De Bruyne versus Mahrez is a tricky one. I would probably go De Bruyne just because I think his minutes are slightly safer for this double. But I could be wrong. De Bruyne could get benched again. Mahrez could continue to start. Who knows? I think both are fine. I've moved towards getting nailed City players, so I've ignored the City defense. Yeah, I would ignore the City defense. So I've seen a few questions around Ake, Akanji, Lewis. I just think that it's not worth it. The upside isn't there. The upside, they don't get attacking returns, really. Even if they do, they're not set for bonus points because Haaland, KDB, Mahrez hog bonus points. They're not getting that many clean sheets despite being a decent defense. And I just feel like the upside with a City defender is a 12-pointer. That's really what you're hoping for. Maybe a 13 or 14-pointer. I'm not saying that would be obviously brilliant. I just feel like Mahrez could absolutely demolish a 14. Mahrez and De Bruyne could get 20-plus points. And I feel like other assets, Erdegaard and Ketia, these are assets with high upside. If you're going for a defender, I would just play it safe with a player that you know will play in 25 and 28, or you know will double in 25, like a Kilman, a Dawson. I'm less convinced by City defense, personally. I'm glad you're struggling as much as me. I have two transfers. I have two transfers and I'm contemplating doing Salah to Saka. Already own Martinelli to Nketiah. Lets me roll a transfer to respond to doubles/injuries. Salah to Saka is an interesting one because I would say now don't bother selling Salah because he's got the double in 25. Is there another way for you to get Saka? I suppose there's probably not. Yeah, I don't mind it, Frosty, but I don't know about selling Salah now. I feel like if you kept Salah this long, you just keep Salah now that they've got that nice double in 25. I have 6 players blanking in Game Week 25. Should I free hit or start to transfer out? I think 6 is that boundary between, do you just commit now? So the other thing that I would note is free hit in 25 is a real possibility now. The reason I say that is if you've already got Brighton and Brentford players, they now double in 27. So what you could do is continue to hold your Brentford, Newcastle, Man United, Brighton players, hold them through to double Game Week 27, and then just free hit in 25. Because I feel like if you own Matoma, Estepinian, Tony, me, selling them for a blank 25, but then not having them for double 27, it feels a bit counterintuitive. So I almost feel like, especially the Brighton and Brentford players, but also to some extent Manchester United and Newcastle players, I feel like if you've already got them, maybe you just commit to a free hit in 25. I don't dislike that now. I feel like double game week 27 has changed my opinion on chip strategies quite a bit, which is why I think I need to do an updated video. Because I feel like there is now new strategies that you can do around that. Now a free hit in 28 looks like it makes more sense. Now a free hit in 25 looks like it makes more sense. Whereas before, as I was saying, I would have saved the free hit for either 29 or 34. So I think we need to update our thinking. And if you already own Brentford and Brighton, maybe you just free hit in 25. But then you are in the same position in 28. You are, but Newcastle play in 28, so you wouldn't have to sell your Newcastle assets. So let's say you own 2 or 3 Newcastle assets. You can keep them for 28. Brentford could play, I believe, in Game Week 28. I can't actually remember for Game Week 28. Let me have a quick look. I can't remember whether Brentford do. But obviously Brighton and Manchester United won't, but Newcastle will. And I think Brentford, if I remember correctly, will have a fixture. Let's have a look. Brentford... Okay, Brentford are probably likely to blank in 28. So yeah, I suppose you don't want to own too many from Brentford, Brighton and Man United then. So it does make it a little bit trickier in Game Week 28. But you've also got... You'll have 1 or 2 transfers going into 28. Remove a couple of them. It just might mean that your 28's not perfect, I suppose. There's a danger here that I think Game Week 27 doubles are clouding our thinking. I think that you don't want to overemphasize any single double or blank. Because I think if you overemphasize 27, then you struggle with either 24 or 28. If you overemphasize 28, then you might struggle with 29. You need to think about your strategy and not focus too much on one specific game week, I think. Is it more important to upgrade White or Martinelli? What do you think, chat? If you own White and Martinelli, who do you think's the priority to ship out? I mean, I'm in a similar situation. I could just do White to Gabriel. I could leave Martinelli in there, do White to Gabriel. I don't know. I feel like White is more of an issue than Martinelli for me because he doesn't even have a high upside. It's a 6-point max. But I feel like Martinelli to Erdegaard is a bigger upgrade. Already on a -4. Should I sell Rashford for Mahrez for a -8? I wouldn't be selling Rashford, no. Don't waste a transfer on White/Martinelli, in my opinion. There you go. That's from Frosty. Martinelli out first because there are many good midfielders. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I said, I feel like it's more of an upgrade to sell him. How to navigate without the free hit. Try and buy players that play in all of the upcoming blanks. So, for example, I think they're the only team that are guaranteed to play in 25, 28, and 32 at Everton. So owning like a Pickford and Tarkowski would sort you out there with 2 players. Mings would play in 25 and 28, along with like Bailey. You've got Kilman and Dawson, those players, Wolves players playing double in 25, probably playing 28, or might play in 28, and then might also play in 32. So you don't want to bring in players that blank in some of the upcoming blanks and then maybe don't blank in others. You want to try and buy players that will cover you for all of them. That's the best way to approach the upcoming weeks without a free hit, I think. Or you just sacrifice a single week and you just say, do you know what? In game week 28, I'm only going to have 6 players, but for all of the other blanks and doubles, I'll be fine. There are 2 ways to approach it. I feel like it's probably a combination of both that you can use there. Is Haaland really the best captaincy choice this week? Saka and Ødegaard are options, Daniel says. Let us know, chat. Who do you think is the best captaincy option for game week 23? Are you captaining Haaland? I can run a poll. Actually, you know what? Let me run a poll. I'll run a poll for captaincy. I've only got 4 options, so I'm not going to be able to have like Mahrez and De Bruyne on here. So that's a bit of a shame. Oh well. If it is Mahrez and De Bruyne, I apologise. But I feel like if you're going to captain a City player, you probably captain in Haaland. So I've got Haaland, Saka, Ødegaard, and Nketiah. Let me know who you're captaining. Vote on that poll. For me, it is still Haaland, but I'm interested to see if anyone else is going anywhere different with it. Is Haaland a triple captaincy option this week? Yes. I would be tempted to wait for game week 25 and maybe captain someone like an Nketiah or a Saka. The fixtures are much better for Arsenal. I feel like if you're going to triple captain an Arsenal player, I would triple captain the Arsenal player in game week 25, not this week. So if you're triple captain Arsenal, don't do it this week. Do it in 25. If you're going for a City asset, if you think you are going to triple captain Haaland this season, I'd probably get it done this week. Because we don't know that he will have a better double in the future, because we don't even know if he'll be fit in the future. And we don't know what City will be playing like. So I feel like this is, if you're going to triple captain Haaland, this is the time to probably do it. Yeah, sorry, Chelsea are playing in 25 and 28 too. Yeah, I keep forgetting that. Not the best fixtures, but Chelsea, yes, also an option in 25 and 28. So Reece James, Kepa, Badiashile, Felix if you want to, Mudryk. There are some options there. Hey, Ross, do you think it's worth keeping Alma on, or should I replace him with Mahrez or Matoma for a -4? Not sure about Mahrez's minutes. I'm not sure that Alma on to Matoma for a -4 is worth it when they both blank in 25. Unless you're free hitting in 25, then Matoma's probably worth it. I don't dislike Matoma for a -4. Mahrez for a -4 feels a lot better because you're getting an extra fixture in 23 and an extra fixture in 25, assuming Mahrez starts both of them. But yeah, I'm always skeptical about City assets minutes. Even when Foden started like 12 in a row, I was still skeptical. And then he was benched like 4 out of the next 5 weeks. We just never know what's happening in Pep's mind. And he can just drop assets out of nowhere. So whilst at the moment, I think Mahrez looks great, I don't know how long that will continue for. Start Shaw or Estepinian. Why can't I think who Brighton have? I do this every week. I just blank with one team. And Crystal Palace they're playing, aren't they? I would start Estepinian. That water looks very cold. It is. It's got it is. My voice broke there. It's got a lot of ice in it. I love cold water. Although, when I drink cold water, sometimes I feel like I'm drowning. Let me know if let me know if anyone understands what I mean when I say that. Sometimes when water's very cold, I'm like, Jesus, I feel like I'm drowning when I'm drinking that. Also, apparently, warmer water quenches your thirst more. Not like hot, but apparently like tepid. Let's say tepid water. Apparently that quenches your thirst more than. Look, why? Just ignore the voice break. Why Andreas Pereira over Shaw? I don't know who to start, to be honest. I think Andreas Pereira might be on penalties and he's on set pieces. I suppose Luke Shaw's on set pieces too. I just think that Luke Shaw will concede. That's pretty much it. What do you think, though, guys? Let me know. I'm looking at the chat this time because I forgot to look at the chat when I asked the question last time. Who would you... I need to start two of James, Andreas, Bamford and Shaw. So you can see my team, James, Andreas, Bamford, Shaw. I need to start two of them. Once you learn how to swim, I think you'll feel more comfortable when drinking cold water. Yeah, potentially. Maybe it's a little bit like PTSD from swimming in the past. As soon as I see water, every time I get in the bath, I panic. No, there's nothing better than cold water. Mrs. FPLB drinks warm water. She's super cool. How warm is warm? How warm is warm is the question. Hey, Ross, hope you've been keeping well. Good luck with the tough calls tonight. Is there any major news? I can't see anything on Twitter. I haven't seen any major news yet, no. I think we're fine for now, but I will keep everyone updated as and when we get any major news. I really like cold sparkling water. Makes my voice higher too. Nice, Claudette. I'm not a massive fan of sparkling water. It feels wrong. Water shouldn't be fizzy. Unless it's flavoured. I don't know. I feel like this is a post-deadline chat. I think you have your team right. Definitely Andreas over Shaw. I'd play Bamford over Andreas. Maybe. Kepa to Edison for a hit. No. No, no, no. Do not sell Kepa to Edison for a hit. I'm benching Kepa this week. If you wanted confirmation that Kepa was going to haul, Kepa's on my bench. Every time Kepa... Do you know what? I can actually demonstrate to you how horrific it has been every single week benching Kepa. Last week I started Kepa and he got 10 points. But the week before that, I benched Kepa for a 9-pointer. The week before that, I benched Kepa for a 10-pointer. The week before that, I benched Edison this time for an 8-pointer. And I started Kepa for a 3-pointer. So the one week I started Kepa there, Edison got bonus points. Edison never makes saves and never gets bonus points. But Edison got an 8-pointer. And then in game week 18, I benched Kepa only for a 3-pointer this time. And then what was it in 17? I benched Kepa for a 9-pointer. So I've benched Kepa for a 10-pointer and 2 9-pointers. Just don't do it to yourself. Just don't buy Edison and don't bench Kepa. Don't bench or sell Kepa. With all of that in mind, I'm starting Edison and benching Kepa. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I'm not feeling overly optimistic about that. Remind me why we listen to you again. I don't know. I think you're mad listening to me. I would trust pretty much anyone else ahead of me at the moment. Don't forget to hit the like button. Over 3,000 watching, but less than 600 likes. That is true. Thank you for being such a fantastic moderator, Yelena. Check you out. Bamford ain't going to get 90 minutes. This is the thing. Bamford got subbed just after 60 minutes in both games. He didn't look that great, I'll be honest. It was probably a bit of a failure of a transfer. He got an assist. I wasn't overly impressed with him, but he is still on penalties. And Manchester United didn't look good defensively against Leeds. It is at Ellen Road. I don't know. I don't know how to feel and what to think about Bamford, but I feel like Andreas could be on pens. We know he's on corners. Forest are very good. I have no doubt that Nottingham Forest are improving as a team, but they are much better at the City Ground. They're much better at home. This is at Craven Cottage. I would back Fulham to win this. And if I'm backing Fulham to win it, they have to get goals. And usually it's a combination of Mitrovic and Andreas. So that's the reason Andreas head of Bamford. And then I have to start one of Shaw and James. I'm kind of half trying to cover the Kepa clean sheet. Of course, James might not make it to 60 minutes, which is an issue. If he makes 55 or something, that's an issue. But if I think that Manchester United will concede, then I don't mind taking a punt on James. I suppose the issue I've got is if I think Man United will concede, then I should start Bamford. I don't know. It's a tricky one. I feel like I'm going to get one of those decisions, if not both, wrong. So we'll see. How are we feeling about keeping White? I think keeping White's fine for now, but yeah, it's an issue longer term. I could still sell White as part of the -8. By the way, that captaincy poll, 85% of people are captaining Haaland. So I expect Haaland to be above 200% effective ownership. I think some people will triple captain. So if you want to captain someone else, it'll be a massive differential. At the moment, Saka is the second most popular captain, then Ødegaard, then Nketiah. Which is interesting because Nketiah has the best data. So if you're going off data, the best captaincy option after Haaland is Nketiah, really. But Saka's the most popular at the moment. Ham says, hi Ross, I have Botman, Trippier, Rashford, Bruno and Shaw. Using only free transfers to sell Botman and Shaw. It means my GameWeek25 team includes Mitrovic, Andreas and Bueno. Am I in wildcard territory at the moment instead? I don't think so at all. Your team sounds fine. I don't even think you need to sell Botman and Shaw this week. Remember, you can bench 3 of them. I know you've got Bueno as well. Mitrovic and Andreas are fine to start in GameWeek25. I think your team looks okay. I don't think there's a major issue with that at all. TSB781 says, Ross, last week you got me to bench me. Did I actually? I'm so sorry. that is shocking advice. Ross, last week you got me to bench me, so I'm back for more. I don't know why you would come back. I would just never tune into my stream again. White and Mitrovic to Akanji and Nketiah. I have Ødegaard and Saka. Nketiah's predicted points are huge. I feel so much pressure now to give you better advice this week. White and Mitrovic to Akanji and Nketiah. That feels like the sort of thing that has potential to terribly backfire. If Akanji's benched, White's not benched in either. Mitrovic could score a penalty, be still on penalties. Camera's gone. I think I would probably do the hit, but it has the potential to backfire. So as long as you accept that could go wrong, yes, I would probably make that hit. And I'm very sorry for telling you to... I don't know who I told you to start instead of Ben Mee, but I'm apologetic for that. Would you consider... would you choose... What would you choose of these 2 options? White, Bruno to Kilman, Saka -4, or Bruno to Mahrez? Already have KDB, Haaland, Nketiah, and Ødegaard. I would probably do... Bruno to Mahrez makes sense, I think. I think Bruno to Mahrez for free sounds like a more sensible use of your transfers. I do think you're going to want Saka at some point, but you could always do Mahrez to Saka in GameWeek25 if you're looking to captain Saka, for example. So I feel like Mahrez now, maybe look to move to Saka soon. Yeah, I'd probably just about do that one for free. Shaw, Andreas, or Mitrovic, whom to bench? Probably Luke Shaw. I'd probably start Andreas and Mitrovic and just hope that Fulham put a few goals past Forest. Akanji, Aki, and Lewis. The thing is I wouldn't go for a City defender, but if you want to go for a City defender, I think longer term, Ake is the one to go for. I think in double game week 23, Akanji is probably the most likely to start both. I could see both Ake and Lewis being benched for one in double game week 23, but I think longer term, they're both relatively nailed. Akanji is at the moment the most nailed, but as soon as Stones is back, Akanji becomes less nailed. So I think for 23, it's Akanji. Longer term, I would go Ake. I wouldn't go for any of them, though, personally. Luke Shaw or Rico Lewis, who to start? I'd go for Rico Lewis and just hope that he starts both, or at the very least starts the Villa game. And I think if there is one that he's going to start, it's more likely to be the Villa game, because I think we could see Kyle Walker and like Laporte or something like that against Arsenal. Some tricky decisions this week, though. Some tricky decisions. Too scared to sell Bruno for Mahrez. Bruno looked really good in the double, so we'll see. I can't see you yet. I'm just resetting my camera. Give it a couple of minutes. Lewis is scoring against Villa. Is he now? His data's not bad, to be fair. His data's not bad at all. I want to do Martinelli and Bruno to Saka and KDB. Question, is KDB essential and worth losing Bruno versus Leeds? KDB's not essential, but I do think he's a better option because he has a double game week. And would you start Mitrovic or Matoma? I would start Matoma, and I would do that double transfer. If it's for free or if it's for free, definitely. If it's for a -4, I would still lean towards yes, but it's a little bit harder. But yeah, Martinelli and Bruno to Saka and KDB is a big upgrade. When to bench boost? Now's good, right? I don't dislike it. The thing is, if we play a wild card in Game Week 27, or if we play a wild card earlier, it's going to be difficult to find a perfect week for a bench boost, because what you ideally like to do is you wild card into a bench boost. So you set up your bench perfectly using that wild card. But if we wild card in 27, free hit in 28, you could bench boost in 29 potentially. But if it doesn't look that great for that week, then you've just got to bench boost in one of the later weeks. So if your bench looks good this week and you want to, I don't hate it. If I had, I don't know, let's say I had something like, if I had a slightly better option than Bamford and maybe someone like Dawson instead of Castagna, I suppose I could bench boost. So like this week, if I sold, who's a decent striker for this coming week? What are the fixtures? I suppose like if I did Bamford back to Mitrovic and then did Castagna to Dawson or Castagna to like Botman or something like that, like I could probably bench boost. I feel like it could still be, there could be still slightly better weeks in the future in a double, especially if you do wildcard before a bench boost. You're always setting your team up in a slightly better way. I don't mind a bench boost though. Yeah, could go João Felix. I do think João Felix João Felix and Diogo Jota are my two players that I predict in the future will be wanted by a lot of people. They're just those kind of players that they're going to put up really good data, get tons of chances, maybe get a couple of hauls. And then all of a sudden we're going to be thinking, is Jota back? Is Felix a good option? I really like them too. I feel like they've both got high upside, sort of high ceilings. So we'll see. Hello, Raptor, looking beautiful as always. Thank you. I appreciate that. Is this feasible? Edison, Bruno, Martinelli. Sorry, I like the way that you spelt Martinelli. It's Martin and then Ellie. I like that. Toward Mahrez and Erdegaard / Saka for a -8. Edison, Bruno, and Martinelli. I don't know about selling Edison, Bruno, and Martinelli for Ward, Mahrez, and Erdegaard, Saka. That doesn't feel like a massive upgrade, Krishy. I don't hate it because you're getting Erdegaard and Saka, but you're also doing Edison to Ward. You're losing Bruno. It's okay, but that doesn't feel like a really great -8 hit to me personally. But if you fancy it, then absolutely go for it, as always. Have you considered Pedro Porro? No, not yet. Andy Master in the chat. Good morning, Ross. Porridge in my pan. What are you doing for this week, Andy? I haven't seen your team yet. Let me know. I didn't have porridge this morning. I woke up with enough time, but then I was trying to set up my stream. I was making a couple of graphics, and I ran out of time to have my porridge. So I ended up just having a coffee and a couple of biscuits. It was not ideal. What are your current plans? Oh, good question. I don't know. I genuinely, like often I'll, not to create tension or anything, but often I'll sit here and say I don't know. But in the back of my mind, I'll have a favoured option. The reason that I say I don't know is because I want to have a little bit of a think about it before I speak out and say that that's my favoured option and commit to it. I don't have a clue what I'm doing. Like genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I have no idea what transfers I'm making this week. And I've got under an hour. I don't even know who I'm benching. I have just no idea what to do with my team. Use my 2 free transfers, White to Kilman and then Bruno to Saka. Triple City, triple Arsenal attack. Oh, Andy, don't tell me that. That's one of my potential options, is to do White to Kilman and Bruno to Saka. Yeah, I do like that. It means I don't have Erdegaard, but it means I get to keep Martinelli and I do have the triple attack. Decisions. Opinion on dead ending into blank game at 28 and wildcard in 29. Yeah, that seems fine, Dylan. It's just how do you deal with double 27 and blank 28? Because, for example, Brighton are likely to blank in 28, but they're doubling in 27. So how do you deal with that? Brentford are also a team that are likely to double in 27 and blank in 28. So trying to deal with both 27 and 28 well is going to be tricky. The love of my life is getting married. How to move on? Oh, what a question. Then she's probably not the love of your life, and you'll probably find someone else, would be my opinion on it. You might have thought she was the love of your life, but you will find a greater love. We'll discuss that post-deadline if you're still here. But yeah, she's probably not the who you thought she was, which is fine. There are plenty of fish in the sea. Love your streams. Been following on Twitter as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Shaw to Lewis for free. I don't mind it. I'm not convinced by Arsenal or City defence for this double. I think there will be goals in the City-Arsenal game, so let's scrap that for a clean sheet potential. I know it could be 0-0 or something, but I don't think so. So then it's basically like a single fixture plus a couple of appearance points. Could I see Brentford and Villa scoring? Yeah. So I don't know. You have the potential always in a double game week, but if I was on a wild card, I would be tempted to have Nketiah, Ødegaard, Saka, Mahrez, De Bruyne, Haaland. I'd be tempted by a triple City attack and triple Arsenal attack. I'm not sure I'd have defenders from either. I might have an Arsenal defender, but I wouldn't be having a City defender. I've changed my mind. You're a better bald man than Ten Hag. I'm definitely not a better bald man than Ten Hag. I'm a better bald man than Pep Guardiola. That's for sure. Martinelli to Saka / Ødegaard or roll the transfer. I would make the move. If you can get to Saka, probably go for Saka, just for the penalties. The data is very similar to Ødegaard at the moment, and he has the pens. And he takes corners as well. I know Ødegaard takes some corners too, but yeah, I would probably just about prefer Saka at the moment. But I think it's very close between the two of them. I suppose that Ødegaard is probably a better option than Saka for being £1.3 million cheaper. If they were the same price, I would maybe just about favour Saka, but it's very close. I think it's virtually 50-50. Whoever you fancy to do well. But yeah, I think just because of the penalties, it would lean me just about in favour of Saka. Triple captain Saka. If I were to triple captain Saka again, I would do it in game week 25. I wouldn't be doing it in game week 23. I don't feel like this double is anywhere near as good as Arsenal's double in 25. Let me just remind myself of the fixtures. Leicester away and Everton at home. That's a much better double for Arsenal. I would triple captain Saka in 25 if you're going to. I'll probably be I'll captain one of either a Liverpool attacker, Salah or Darwin, or Saka probably in game week 25. Maybe Nketiah if Jesus still isn't back. But yeah, so I would either go, if you still got your triple captainship, I would go Haaland in 23 or Saka / Salah, Darwin, and Nketiah. One of those options in 25. KDB to Mahrez from -4 to afford Martinelli to Saka. I don't know about KDB to Mahrez. Martinelli to Saka is an upgrade. KDB to Mahrez, I'm not sure is an upgrade at all. It's probably a sideways move. So I suppose if it allows you to do Martinelli to Saka, maybe it's worth it. I don't know. I feel like a lot of these, it's going to be potluck. It's up to the FPL gods if the likes of KDB to Mahrez, Martinelli to Saka, if these moves pay off. All we need is one return from Martinelli. And all of a sudden, Saka and Ødegaard are having to get 2 returns just probably to make up the hit. 3 returns to really make it worthwhile in 23. Again, you're not just doing it for game week 23. But you really want and need Martinelli to blank or Saka and Ødegaard to go absolutely massive to make the hit really worth it. I say that as someone that's still very, very tempted to do the -8 myself, so we'll see. Bruno to Saka and Martinelli to Ødegaard, or Mitrovic to Nketiah and Martinelli to Ødegaard. Bruno to Saka, Martinelli to Ødegaard. Yeah, seems straightforward. Or Mitrovic to Nketiah and Martinelli to Ødegaard. So it's basically Bruno to Saka or Mitrovic to Nketiah. Oh, I feel like Mitrovic to Nketiah is a safer bet because I think Bruno's really nice for the next couple. But Mitrovic also allows you to have a player in game week 25. I would probably go Bruno to Saka with 25 in mind. Bruno to Saka with 25 in mind, Polkit. So you've got Edison, James, Gnonto, Castagna on your bench. Would you bench boost? No. Why is Edison on your bench? I'm still not sure I would bench boost that. I just think Gnonto and Castagna aren't great options this week. We don't know if James will get 60. Edison's probably got a ceiling of 12 points. I would try and start Edison, but I probably wouldn't bench boost. Almiron to Mahrez or De Bruyne or Martinelli to Saka. Almiron to Mahrez or De Bruyne or Martinelli to Saka. Almiron to De Bruyne / Mahrez I would go for. Matt says, hi Ross, Fernandes, Gabriel, Andreas out for Mahrez, Saka, Tarkowski in -8 or 2 Fernandes for Mahrez. Both get 6 double game week players, want Saka. Fernandes, Gabriel, Andreas out for Mahrez, Saka, Tark in. I wouldn't sell Gabriel or Fernandes for Mahrez. Both get 6. I would do the Fernandes for Mahrez. I don't like the idea of selling Gabriel. He's perfectly fine as an option. I know you want Saka. It just seems wrong selling the best Arsenal defender ahead of an upcoming run where you probably would want an Arsenal defender anyway. Like, look at this double. That looks great for Gabriel, especially Leicester away. Could get a header there. I would keep Gabriel personally. I've got 3 Arsenal and Mahrez for 1 free transfer. Can't do Bruno to KDB. I should go for Man City defender -4. B, remain with 2 Man City. Get other defender for game week 25. If A, who? Sorry, I'm trying to work out what you're asking here. I would stick with 2 Man City assets. I wouldn't go for a Man City defender personally. And I would probably go for Kilman or Dawson if you're going to go for a game week 25 defender. Maybe Tarkowski. One of the Wolves and Everton defenders I'd be going for. If you can stretch to Trent and you want to take a risk on the Liverpool defence improving, maybe you do that. Raptor, can you please make a wildcard team? It really depends on your chip strategy, so I can't really do that. I might do it in my video on Sunday, but obviously that's not going to sort you for this week. It depends on your chip strategy, and it really depends on how you want to approach kind of like Brighton and Brentford assets. Because if you're free hitting in 25, or you can bench them in 25, maybe you want to load up on the likes of a Matoma and an Estepinian, Ben Mee and Tony, but then you struggle in 25 and 28. I feel like if you've not already got a wildcard team sorted, you shouldn't wildcard this week with 45 minutes left. You probably need to sit down for a few hours and think about a wildcard at the moment. Fernandes to KDB or Almiron to Mahrez? Almiron to Mahrez for me. Start Shaw, Gnonto or Andreas. I'd be tempted by Gnonto. Like I said, he just looks so good, but maybe Andreas if not. I do think Man United will concede, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong, absolutely. But that's my general thought process at the moment. Just tucking into a Cornetto. 10 a.m. having a Cornetto. Absolute wild. Someone said a few hours. I think wildcard planning, if you're wildcarding correctly, a wildcard should take you 6, 7, 8 hours minimum to plan for. Especially at the moment. You've got so many blanks and doubles with different teams blanking and doubling, especially in consecutive weeks. If you don't sit down for 6, 7, 8 hours, you will miss something. And you'll put together a team that maybe looks good for blank 25 and double 23. And maybe you think is a really nice team for double 29. But then you'll come to blank game week 32 and you'll go, oh, did not think about all of these teams blanking. You really need to plan at this stage of the season. Maybe that's not the way you enjoy playing FPL, which is fine. But if you are an engaged manager and you want to get the most out of your wildcard chip, it's a situation where you really do need to really sit down and think about your wildcard. Or just watch my videos and I'll help you through it is the other option you've got there. We are currently 350 subscribers off 62,000. I would love to. I don't think we will, but I would love to hit that on today's stream. So if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. I would massively appreciate it. Like I said, there will be a video on Sunday or Monday where I'll be going through various chip strategies and how to deal with the upcoming blanks and doubles. So if you want to see that video, make sure to subscribe so it pops up in your subscription feed. Hi, Ross. Do you think it's worth doing Bruno to Erdegaard for a -4 this week if it would mean having to sell Rashford if I wanted Salah in Game Week 25? Ross, do you think it's worth doing Bruno to Erdegaard for a -4 this week? I mean, I'd have to sell Rashford if I wanted Salah in 25. I think that's fine. Selling Rashford would be fine there. He blanks in 25 and he's likely to blank in 28. I suppose you've got a bit of money tied up in him, but I don't dislike that. Bruno to Erdegaard is okay. I don't necessarily think Bruno to Erdegaard for a -4 is an obvious move. Bruno's got Leicester and Leeds. They're two good fixtures. I would still be tempted to do it, Curtis. Start Mitrovic or Bruno. I would start Bruno. If you had your triple captain, would you use it this week? I don't think so. I think I would use it in double game week, probably double game week 25. I would probably use it on Nketiah or Saka. I'm not convinced that, I don't know, maybe I would use it on Haaland. It's tricky because at the moment we're getting a lot of blanks from Haaland, but the numbers are still there. So maybe I'm just getting carried away by a bit of outcome bias with the way he's performing. It's very close. I think it depends on how well you think they'll do against... Let's disregard the Arsenal fixture for now. Do you think City will turn over Villa? If so, yes, triple captain him. If you think that'll be a fairly tight, close game, then I wouldn't. I don't feel massively confident about Haaland and City at the moment. White to Gabriel for a -4. I have Saka and Erdegaard. I don't love White to Gabriel for a -4 personally. Good morning. I've done Martinelli to Saka, but I only have one City. Should I do Bruno to KDB and Mitrovic to Gnonto for a -8, or Bruno to Mahrez for a -4, or keep Bruno? If I was going to do one of them, it would be Bruno to Mahrez for a -4, but I think you're fine keeping Bruno if you want to. That's a tricky one. I would probably do Bruno to Mahrez for a -4 and just hope that Mahrez starts both, I guess. Fernandes to Saka, Shaw to James -4, or play Dunk. I like Fernandes to Saka and Shaw to James for a -4. Can you not just do Fernandes to Saka, though? Why do you have to do Shaw to James? Oh, I'll play Dunk instead, and then you don't do the -4. Yeah, I would do Fernandes to Saka and play Dunk. Would be my strategy. Hi, Ross. Is Fernandes to Mahrez worth a -4 this week? Okay, so I've just answered that. I think I would just about do it. All you need, again, though, is one Fernandes return, and you suddenly need 2 Mahrez returns just to kind of make the hit back. But I think across the coming weeks, and especially because Mahrez has a fixture in 25, assuming he starts, I would back Mahrez to outscore Fernandes by 4 points. Just tuned in. What are your plans this week? I've got no idea, Rob. I am either doing Martinelli to Erdegaard, doing Fernandes and White to Saka and Kilman, or doing Fernandes, White and Martinelli to Saka, Kilman and Erdegaard. So it's either a free transfer -4 or -8. I am definitely making a move of some kind, though. But yeah, it's not an easy decision. I still genuinely don't know what I'm doing. I mean that as well. No idea. Free transfer, Shaw to Ake or White to Gabriel. Free transfer, Shaw to Ake or White to Gabriel. I don't love either of them, but probably White to Gabriel would be the one I would go for. I don't really like the City defence. I don't feel like there's enough upside with them. They're 6-point merchants, most of them at best. And I don't know that they're going to start enough to warrant it. All you need is 1 or 2 benchings, and I would probably prefer someone with lower clean sheet potential, such as a Tarkovsky or a Kilman, but maybe slightly more attacking threat. You could see them scoring the odd goal. I just don't see any of the City assets getting regular attacking returns, at the moment anyway. Of course they could. Has the deadline hit yet? No, we've still got 39 minutes until the deadline. Deadline's at 11 a.m. GMT. Mitrovic to Nketiah for a -4. Yeah, that feels fairly straightforward to me. Bench Matoma or Bruno? Oh, that's a tough one. I would bench Matoma just because Bruno's on pens. But I wouldn't want to bench Matoma or Bruno, really. I would try and find someone else to bench. Your rank is falling quickly. I hadn't noticed. Thank you so much for pointing that out to me. Ross, would you start Estepinian or Shaw? I would start Estepinian. Chat, what do I do with my team? Help me out here. Are you confident in your team, or are you planning to make transfers? I am planning to make transfers as per the rest of the stream. At least you had a rank to fall from, better than most of us. I suppose this is true. If I'd have started badly and had the last few weeks that I had, I would be in a very bad position. I'm still in a strong position. I'm still in the top 10k at the moment. Might not be by the end of the week. We'll see. Who to bench? Matoma, Wilson, Bruno, or Rashford? Oh, I'm just not benching any of those. Why are people creating benching headaches like this for themselves? I'd bench Matoma, but I wouldn't be happy about that at all. You can't bench Wilson against Bournemouth. I think Wilson will get a brace. I genuinely do. I think Bournemouth away he's playing against his old team. Bournemouth are the worst defence in the league. So I wouldn't bench. And then Bruno and Rashford, I think there'll be goals against Leeds. So I would bench Matoma, but I hate saying that. I really do. How do you rate Bruno against Leeds based on the last Leeds game? How are Leeds' performance away versus at home? All the best, Ross. I think Bruno was better than Rashford in both games in the double, but specifically against Leeds. He put up better XG, better expected assists as well. Bruno was very unlucky to come away with nothing against Leeds. So I prefer Bruno probably to Rashford against Leeds. Although at Ellen Road it might change. But just based on that performance, Bruno had a very, very decent game. He was creating chances, getting in the right positions. Unlucky to come away with no assists at least. Thoughts on subbing Shaw for Bueno? Thoughts on subbing Shaw for Bueno? I don't know what that question means, the way you've worded that. Do you mean that you're going to put Shaw on your bench and start Bueno? If you're confident that Bueno starts, but there's a good chance, number one, he doesn't start. And even if he does start, we don't know if he'll see 60 minutes. So I would probably start Shaw ahead of Bueno, if that's the question. Martinelli to Erdegaard -4, bench Shaw for Andreas. Yep, I don't mind the sound of either of those. They both sound good to me. Ross, before you make your transfers, take 2 minutes to yourself and don't interact with the chat. It will make you make better decisions. I can't really just take 2 minutes to myself in the middle of a deadline stream, sadly. Can you imagine? Just mute the mic and just go into like hyper focus mode. No, sadly I can't do that. Keeping Salah, I could do Andreas to Erdegaard. Okay, and Havertz to Edouard. He'd be my first sub. Moves me to a 3-5-2. Edouard may also be a nice option for GameWeek27 off the bench. Am I missing something with Edouard? Is he starting every game now? Let me have a look quickly. I'll be honest, he's a player that I haven't looked at virtually at all this season. This is what I hate about Edouard here. This is what I expect from him. Is pre 60-minute subs off the bench. I don't know. I think I would just sell Salah then, Frosty. I feel like that's just a much worse set of transfers just to hold on to Salah. And I feel like Andreas is a decent bench option most weeks. Much better than Edouard, probably, for me. You in hyper-focus mode would be a sight to see. Yeah. I do get into my flow state sometimes. Perro to Laporte, Martinelli to Erdegaard -4. Sounds decent. I don't expect Laporte to start both necessarily. Maybe he will. We'll see. But yeah, I don't mind that, Tom. That's a decent set of moves. Sets your team up well long term as well. Selling Salah lets me do Havertz to Darwin. That was my original plan. Yeah, I would just probably do that, Frosty. I'd probably just do that. Shaw to Gabriel, Bruno to Mahrez, Martinelli to Saka. Yeah, sounds like a nice set of moves. Hopefully that's a -4, not a -8. If it's a -8, it's less appealing, but still maybe worth it. Unfortunately, going to get my paid subscription cancelled. I can't even get my comments read. Go for it. There is no confirmation you will ever get a comment read, especially in a live stream with almost 4,000 people. But I'm obviously not deliberately missing your messages. If you'd have just asked your message again, then I probably would have seen it. So there we go. Fernandes or Tony? To start, I would go Fernandes. Okay, I'm just going to put one more comment out there. I have never confirmed to see your super chat. I've never confirmed to be able to answer every super chat. And I will never confirm that, especially when, again, there are almost 4,000 people here. So please stop spamming miss super chat. If I've missed it, it's been missed. I will try not to miss it. If you keep spamming that, you'll be muted or timed out by one of the moderators. I don't want to have to say that, but that's all I can see at the moment in the chat. So, mods, if you can start muting people that spam that, please. Chris, morning, bruv. Mahrez Erdegaard for Almiron Martinelli. Mahrez Erdegaard for Almiron Martinelli. Or Mahrez Saka for Bruno Martinelli. Really want Saka, but I lose Bruno. Yeah, we're going to lose Bruno later anyway. And I think Saka is worth doing. I quite like Mahrez and Saka for Bruno and Martinelli, Chris. I would probably be leaning that way. Hopefully that helped. Sanj says, my team bias made me buy Gakpo. Should I hold for the double game week or sell for Mahrez? Gakpo is going to become an issue because Jota, Firmino, Diaz probably around sort of middle March, Darwin. I feel like Gakpo will become an issue soon. I would probably hold him for now, though. I'll probably hold him for now and just hope that maybe some of the injuries, they're not coming back as quick and maybe Gakpo gets at least 1, maybe 2 in the double. I don't know. I still don't think Gakpo's a great option. So if you want to go for Mahrez, go for it. I feel like that's a tricky one, though. On triple Arsenal, triple City already, Martinelli and De Bruyne to Saka and Mahrez from -4. Or Martinelli and Ake to Saka and Lewis for a -4. Or do nothing and roll. Martinelli and... I quite like Martinelli and Ake to Saka and Lewis. To get Saka in there. Martinelli and De Bruyne to Saka and Mahrez probably is an upgrade. But again, I'm not sure how I feel about selling De Bruyne for Mahrez. I wouldn't roll. I like the idea of getting Martinelli on for someone else. I would do one of the two -4s. I would probably lean towards the Saka and Lewis one and keep in De Bruyne myself. Ross, would you start Cucurella or Shaw? I would probably go Cucurella, Oscar. Andreas or Tony. Again, a lot of people having this decision. I would probably lean Andreas starting just. I think it's almost impossible to decide that for me. Because Tony's got the difficult fixture. But I don't think Forest have been terrible. So I don't think Andreas has an easy fixture. Andreas is on set pieces. We don't actually know yet if Mitrovic is still taking penalties. Because if he's not, we would expect maybe Andreas to take the penalty. If Andreas is on pens, he's a seriously good option every single week. So until we know that Andreas isn't on pens, I would hope that he is and maybe start him ahead of Tony. Walker to Akanji for a -4. It just feels so low upside for me. I feel like the maximum amount of points you're going to gain from that is like 4 or 5. I'm not a massive fan of Walker to Akanji, personally. I feel like Akanji you're looking at a 12-point maximum unless he pops up with a random goal, which is very unlikely based on what we've seen so far. Start James or Shaw. I'm currently starting Reece James, but I think Luke Shaw's fine to start as well. Best arguments for and against triple captain Haaland. I don't feel like it's worth going through all of that there. Just simplify it. Do you want to triple captain Haaland? If so, I would triple captain him this week, just because we don't know what will happen in future weeks. And if you don't want to triple captain Haaland, then just don't do it this week. And I would probably just go for game week 25, Saka and Ketia, someone like that, with much better fixtures. So literally, if Haaland is going to be a triple captain this season, I'd do it now. Otherwise, I would just not do it now and probably go in 25 instead. Why is everyone panicking over White and Martinelli? They're both getting early subs and they've both got the greatest rotation. They've both got the greatest minutes threats. I think that at the moment, Tomiyasu and Trossard are the two players that are most likely to make their way into the starting 11 for Arsenal. Obviously, that is in Martinelli and Ben White's positions. So I feel like if anyone is going to get benched anytime soon in that starting 11 for Arsenal, it is White and Martinelli. And even if they're not benched, they are probably going to get subbed off early repeatedly. Across kind of like 5 or 6 fixtures, if they're getting subbed off 20 minutes early every time, then that becomes an issue, doesn't it? Which Wolves defender would you be looking at? I feel like Kilman's probably the safest for minutes, but Dawson should be relatively nailed now. And we know he's just such a goal threat. So I would be tempted by Dawson, but Kilman obviously saves you like 0.5 million. So Kilman's probably the safer option, gives you the most flexibility moving forward. But if you want to go a little bit cheeky with it, I don't mind Dawson. Hey Ross, less than half an hour to the deadline. What are you doing with your team? I don't actually know. In 10 minutes, I'm going to start focusing more on what decisions I'm going to make. I'll still answer your questions, of course, but there'll be less of a focus on that, and I'll start thinking about my own team. I genuinely still don't know. I genuinely don't know what I want to do. We'll see. We will see. Can only do one of Almiron, Tamares, or Bruno to KDB. Almiron, Tamares, or Bruno to KDB. I would do Almiron, Tamares, Stratzy. So what you're basically saying is that in my position, you do Salah, Martinelli to Saka, Ødegaard for free. I would be tempted. Yeah, I would be tempted. But I may well be keeping Martinelli this week. I'm still tempted to keep I feel like Martinelli for this week is less of an issue. When I've been saying that I think he's an issue, I think if you take like the next 5 or 6 game weeks together, I think he'll be taken off early quite a lot. And I think he'll be benched in maybe one of them. But for 23, I don't know. I feel like he could start both still. Is Martinelli and White to Ødegaard and Gabriel worth a -4? Yes, probably. It probably is. Although you could, I suppose, just do Martinelli to Ødegaard. You don't have to do White to Gabriel for the extra -4. So maybe Martinelli to Ødegaard for free is the play there. Martinelli significantly improves when Jesus is back. Yeah, but that's probably not until game week 26. And if we're maybe wildcarding in game week 27 anyway. I wish we could have 4 Arsenal players. Oh, if we could have 4 Arsenal players, my life would be so much easier. I would just do Fernandes to Saka and Martinelli to Ødegaard for a -4. And I would keep Ben White and I'd have those as my 4 Arsenal assets. Do you think Mahrez will get 60 minutes in both games? If I had to guess, yes, but I'm not that confident that he starts both. I think he will, but he's not just going to start every game for City. We've seen it in the past, like I said. Foden randomly got dropped. You could say that's disciplinary, whatever it is. Grealish looks like he's in favour, then he's randomly dropped. De Bruyne, you would never expect him to be rotated. All of a sudden, Alvarez starts 2 games ahead of him. You just never know with Pep. So yes, I think so, but I'm never confident. What would you do if you didn't have White? If I didn't have White, I would do Martinelli and Fernandes to Saka and Ødegaard. for a -4. The issue is that if I want to do that, I've got to also sell Ben White so it becomes a -8. Bruno to Saka and Martial to Kane. What do you think? Bruno to Saka and Martial to Kane. I think that's... Yeah, I don't know if it's for a -4 or not, but I would probably just go for that. Even if it's a -4, I would go for it. I'm locking in Almiron or James. Good luck, Raptor. I would start... It's Bournemouth. I would probably start Almiron. I know he's not looked great recently, and I don't really think he's a fantastic option anymore, but Almiron against Bournemouth feels like a good bet to start. Right. So, what am I doing? What am I doing? Transfers. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I want triple attack, which would mean doing this. Right. As a minimum. But then do I also just want to do Martinelli to Ødegaard? If I were to just do that -4, I'm not going to do that -4, definitely. I don't know at this stage. But if I were to just do that -4, it gives me another doubler in 25. I remove Fernandes. So I'm getting, with this set of transfers, I'm getting an extra 2 fixtures in Game Week 25 with Kilman ahead of Fernandes. And obviously Saka and White, they have the same amount of fixtures, assuming White starts them all. So I quite like that. Is Martinelli to Ødegaard worth a -4? I think everyone that's asked the question in the live stream today, I've said yes. Martinelli to Ødegaard is worth a -4. And this is why I'm trying to not consider it a -8 hit. I like Kilman and Saka as a -4 set of transfers. And then I quite like Martinelli to Ødegaard for another -4. So yes, that is a -8. But it's not a -8 for me. It's the -4 for Saka and Kilman. And then once I've made that set of transfers, if I do, it would be, do you want to do Martinelli to Ødegaard for another -4? Please don't go Saka, Martinelli, and Nketiah, as we'll have the same Arsenal assets, and I don't want the last 6 weeks of red arrows to rub off on me. Yeah, I'm ruining it for everyone. Sophie says, Ross, it might be worth considering how taking a -4 or -8 will affect your position in the mini league you're in. I don't consider it like that, because I obviously think that I will make up that hit. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. You're just trying to convince yourself. I've just seen twice. I'm not trying to convince myself. I'm explaining myself. I think that Ødegaard to Martinelli is not part of this hit. It's its own separate hit. Saka to Kilman, do we like that for a -4? Is Saka and Kilman in for a -4 is the set of transfers. Martinelli to Ødegaard is just a separate -4 hit. So I'm viewing it as 2 -4 hits. Is it worth it? I don't know. I haven't made my decision. I'm not trying to convince myself or convince you. I'm just explaining the way to think about that. Bruno and Martinelli out for Saka and Ødegaard -4. Yeah, that sounds perfect if you can do that. I obviously can't do that, but if you can do that, then go for it. Like I said, with this -8, I'd be getting 2 extra fixtures with Kilman and potentially a 3rd extra fixture if Martinelli is benched at some point. We'll see. We'll see what I do in the next 10 minutes or so. Let's run a poll for you guys to see what you're doing. End poll. Let's run another one. There we go. I've just put a poll in the chat. I want to see what you guys are doing. You roll in? Are you using a free transfer? -4 hit, -8 hit, -12 hit? Let me know. Who are you captaining this game week? Haaland, definitely, for me. There's no question. No question about it. I do love that there's something about... If I said I'm doing a -4 this week, genuinely no one says a single thing. It's like -4 is such an acceptable... And then a -8, people go absolutely crazy and just lose it. You're taking a -8, you're throwing away your season. It's 4 points. And I'm not... I know you could say that every week, well, it's only 4 points. You don't want to do it on a regular basis, but people go so crazy over 4 points. The difference between a -4 and a -8 is this like massive thing that you can just never take a -8. I took a -20 last year. -20. It worked out well. Fernandes to De Bruyne this week for a -4, or Fernandes to Salah next week for free. Best regards from Brazil. Big love to Brazil. I would be tempted to do Fernandes to De Bruyne, and then after that, do De Bruyne to Salah. So Fernandes to De Bruyne this week, keep De Bruyne for 24, and then in 25, move to Salah. I would be tempted by that. Would be probably my set of moves. But I think you could also just wait for Salah. If you think Fernandes will do well, keep Fernandes. So currently, 40% of you are not taking a hit. 40% are taking a -4 hit. 15% are taking a -8. And then 3% is -12 or more. So it's pretty much 40% no hit, 40% -4, and then about 20% is -8 or more. So 1 in 5 people watching this and voting are taking quite a big hit there. And then again, what is that? 60%, just under 60% are taking a hit. So I don't know how representative that will be, but we'll have to wait and see. I feel like I'm just going to get it wrong regardless. Matoma or Tony, who would you bench? I've answered that question loads of times, Chris, if you were listening. I said I would probably bench Tony, but I wouldn't feel that comfortable about it because he's on penalties. But I would probably start Matoma and just hope that Arsenal keep a clean sheet. Double Newcastle defence, do me proud, lads. Yeah, it looks really good for this week against Bournemouth. Is Reece James fit, Ross? Yes, as far as I know. We haven't had any news, though, unfortunately, about early Chelsea team news. Yeah, I still can't see any early Chelsea team news, sadly. Just having a look. Yeah, I can't see anything yet. I'll keep an eye out though, because it would be nice potentially. It would be nice to get Reece James confirmation. Kilman or Dawson? I feel like Dawson's the better asset, but 0.5 million is a lot. It is a lot, and I feel like Kilman, it still goes up for corners. He could still get something, and I keep on making the mistake of going for the slightly more expensive asset because money's not an issue at the time, but money could be an issue in the future. And if I go for Kilman instead of Dawson, I can go from Bamford to Darwin in a single move, which I like. Oh, I don't know what I want to do, ladies and gentlemen. What do we want to do? I want to take that -8, but it also, removing White, Martinelli and Fernandes has potential to go horribly wrong. I mean, horribly wrong. It really does. Fernandez is against Leeds. Martinelli and White both have doubles. Don't know. In hindsight, do you regret getting Bamford? A little bit, but that is hindsight. You can just make the free transfer for Martinelli to Ødegaard. I could do. And then I've basically just need Fernandez to... I need Fernandez plus 4 points to outscore Saka. I don't know. I'm no closer to making this decision or not. Why sell Ben White? Because I want the triple Arsenal attack. Use the coin trick, Ross. Follow your heart. I tried this and I still don't know. This just tells you that I really am unsure. I'm tempted to just not do that move. I'm tempted to do something like that instead. Because I just think in 23, I could see Martinelli doing relatively well. So that would just be White and Fernandez to Kilman and Saka. I would then start Luke Shaw, bench Kilman probably. I could start Kilman. And then it's basically I just need Saka to outscore Fernandez by 4 points. Do we prefer that? Do we prefer that for a -4? Why Kilman over Tarkovsky? I just think Kilman's fixtures are better for the next few and in 25. You guys aren't helping me at all. Minimize the hit and start Kilman. Raptor is scared. Raptor's just confused what I want. I think no hit. Yeah, a lot of people saying no hit. I know. Hurry up, Ross. I know. I've got no idea what I'm doing. Bamford to João Felix. João Felix could be a great option. I think like it might be a little bit early to move there, but yeah, potentially. So if I make that set of moves, by the way, it's going to be Saka and Luke Shaw versus Fernandez and White with 4 more points. Questions and answers and lots of things. Dump Fernandez too much whinging on the pinch. Life for living. Take the hits. Will be exciting. Watch out for the server crash. Yeah, I know. What to do, what to do. Right. I just committed. Saka's in. Luke Shaw's in. Don't know if I want to start Luke Shaw ahead of Kilman or not. I feel like that's fine like that. So I just need to decide now. Simplified the decision. -4 done. Saka's in. I'm going to keep Nketiah as the vice, though. And then I just need to decide, do I want to do Martinelli to Ødegaard for a -4, for an extra -4. There you go. So there's your question. There's the final thing to think about. Is Martinelli to Ødegaard worth an extra -4? Let me quickly run that poll. Let's let the chat decide. Right, there you go. There's a poll. You vote on that poll. So if you've just joined, we've done Ben White and Fernandes to Saka and Kilman to get Saka in place. I've now got the Arsenal triple attack. I just need to decide if I want to do Martinelli to Ødegaard for an extra -4. And then I'm done. I'm just taking a screenshot of my team just in case that's the way it stays. Oh, are you kidding me? Chats. Right, it's 50-50. It's actually 50-50. There's over 1,000 votes and it's 50-50. This is always... You guys are terrible. You're a terrible chat. You're useless. I don't know why I bother streaming. 51% are saying yes. Okay, yes is now winning. 51% saying yes. I feel like it's worth it. 53% are saying yes. 52%. This is exciting. I've got a few minutes to decide. Every time. I feel like you guys do it on purpose. I would do it. There's more points with Ødegaard. Do it. Don't do it. Oh, God. No. Yes. My brain is fried. I think it's worth it if it was your only hit. But this is what I'm trying to say. Forget the other hit. Because that hit's done. This is Martinelli to Ødegaard for a -4. Ignore the fact that it's part of a -8, -50. Doesn't matter. It's Martinelli to Ødegaard for a -4. That's the point that I'm trying to make, is that this isn't as part of the -8. This is its own -4 hit. Will Ødegaard outscore Martinelli by 4 or more points over the next few weeks? But specifically this week, obviously, because I could do it for free next week, I suppose. I feel like the issue is if I don't do it this week, then I'm probably not doing it at all. You're not ignoring the other hit. I think that is its own hit. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, if I don't do it this week, I probably won't ever find a time to do it, because then we're going to have Game Week 25 when I want to bring in the likes of Salah and Darwin. Then we're going to have double Game Week 27. I might wildcard then anyway, but I feel like if I'm not going to do it now, it won't get done. %54% are saying yes at the moment. That's interesting. Captain Saka. No, I'm perfectly happy captaining Haaland. The final thing is, do I want to start Bamford or Kilman ahead of Andreas? Or Shaw? Do I start Bamford ahead of Shaw? Not Bamford, Kilman ahead of Shaw. Oh, benching decisions as well. I completely forgot about that. Just do it. Should have been your only free transfer. I don't know what I want to do. %55% are saying yes. Do I trust the chat? I suppose if I trust the chat, then I can just say, well, it was my chat's fault. Just blame the live stream chat. I think you swung me when you phrased it as Ødegaard effectively gets an extra 90 minutes over the next 5 games. That's if Martinelli continues to come off early. It could be less than that. I suppose it could be more. That, again, if Martinelli gets benched for a game, then it's even more than that. It's going to be more like 200 minutes. I've done Shaw to Kilman, so yeah, I would start Kilman. Chat, would you start Shaw or Kilman? Shaw or Kilman? Who would you start? Website is crashing soon. Got 5 minutes. Oh, I'm not running a poll on Shaw Kilman because that looks like 50-50 as well. Do it. You're stressing me out. Yeah. I feel like Kilman's probably a 6-pointer. Luke Shaw has that kind of 12, 15-pointer in him. So I think that's why I'm leaning Shaw at the moment. I feel like he's got higher upside. That's the current thought process there. Chat, I've got a few minutes. Am I doing Martinelli to Ødegaard or not? Saka, Martinelli, and Nketiah. Martinelli's fine if he starts both. But he's going to get subbed early. Will Trossard start against Brentford? I don't think he'll start Trossard against City. Is there a potential for Trossard to start against Brentford? I feel like there is. We've got 3 minutes until the deadline. Martinelli to Ødegaard, done. You've convinced me. I don't know if I'm convincing myself, though. Martinelli to Ødegaard. It feels... It's for 4 points. Do I back Ødegaard to get more than 4 points than Martinelli? Probably. But again, as soon as Martinelli gets any kind of return, you need 2 from Ødegaard to make the hit back. So it's basically, do I think either Martinelli will blank or Ødegaard will get at least 1 return more than Martinelli? I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to do it. I think I'm going to do it. If it goes horribly wrong, you can tune into my video next week and laugh at me. FPL is about having fun. Speak now or forever hold your peace, chat. Site's crashed. Is it actually? If I can't do it, then I can't do it. I'll get the app ready just in case the site has crashed. Right. Sorry, chat. I'm sorry. Listen, it's a -8. I don't know how that happened, but it's happened. I'm very happy with the team now. Moving forward, let's see what happens. It's only 8 points. It's only 8 points. -8 is stupid. You're stupid. FPL is about having fun. And I think if I keep saying that, I'll convince myself that I'm having fun and that I actually enjoy this game. Only 8 points. Yeah, only 8 points. Just only 8 points. 8 points isn't a lot, is it? I've now got the perfect Arsenal triple up, in my opinion, of Nketiah, Saka, and Ødegaard. I'm happy with this team. Yes, I am 8 points worse off. 8 points is... Listen, when Andreas scores a penalty against Nottingham Forest, that's the 8 points made up. Don't forget your bench. I think I'm okay with the way the bench is. I don't think I'll need it anyway, but I think I'm okay with the way the bench is. Look at it as you brought Saka in for Bruno for the -8 and it will make you feel better. Yeah, maybe. I guess that's the way you frame it. The most interesting deadline stream ever. Yep, you've got less than 1 minute. By the time you hear this, it might be the deadline. Make sure that you get those teams locked in. Wow, that was quite something. Bloody hell, chat. Did we hit 62,000 subs? No, we're way off. Subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed today's stream, subscribe to the channel as well. We will continue streaming post-deadline, but that's the deadline done. Martinelli will punch you. I assume you mean punish. You might literally mean punch, but we'll see. I'm happy enough with the team. It will mean that I'll start the game week outside the top 10k after taking that -8, but yeah. Deadline is done. If you have enjoyed today's stream, do drop a like. Don't leave, though. Like I said, we will continue streaming for the next at least half an hour, potentially up to an hour. And we kick back and relax after taking a -8. Oh, I need to tweet my team. 2 seconds. Tweet the team. We'll tweet the team quickly. I'll do it from my phone because I took a screenshot. GameWeek23 team. Date advice. How'd the date go? I'll talk about that in 2 seconds. It's not great information, though. Sadly, we had to reschedule the date. Luckily, it wasn't last-minute notice, which is good. But there's little date talk to talk about. I can give you updates on dating life in general, but there is no date information to be had there, sadly. What am I doing? What transfer did I do? I did White to Kilman. Then I did Bruno to Saka. Then I did Martinelli. Jesus. This is just going to go horrifically, isn't it? Martinelli to Erdegaard. From -8. No, it wasn't a rejection. It was well in advance and apologetic. Can we reschedule? I mean, you could say it was rejection. I think she said something along the lines of, when I agreed to go on a date with you, you were in the top 2K. Now you're taking -8s and you're going to be outside the top 10K. She's in it for the glory of the rank. And when the rank's not very high, what can you expect? What can you expect? Get rid of Bamford ASAP. Yeah, I'll probably just sell Bamford for Darwin is the current plan. How much do I have in the bank? Do we remember? What is it, like 2.2 in the bank, isn't it? I can't remember how much I have in the bank. I think it's about 2.2. Let's say 2.2. Pereira is the last one still in our game week still in our team since game week 1. Is it because Yelena put her foot down and wouldn't let you go out on the date? Yeah, she wouldn't. She just said, "No, you can't go on the date." Sorry, Ross. In the bank. Ross doesn't date FPL gold diggers. Yeah, I'm very much of the opinion that she should love me if I'm ranked 10K or 2K. And she was just clearly in it for the rank. No, but we are still going out on a date. It's just not this week now. So, Tony is a must for double game week 27. I would probably agree with that. I'd probably agree with that. Sorry, let me finish off this tweet so I can focus fully, because my ability to multitask isn't great. 8.3k rank. Not for long. I'm not going to be ranked 8.3k for long. Who is this flaky female? It was a flaky female that we had a date booked in for Friday. And yeah, she saw my rank and she said, actually, we'll put that off. So I really need a green arrow, because I feel like if I can get a green arrow, then she'll definitely want to go on a date. Another red arrow, it could be all over. It could be all over. GameWeek23 team. I'll tell you what, chat. That team does look good, though. I know it's cost me 8 points, but that team does look good. Right. As always, if everyone can please like my tweet so that it boosts my ego, that would be good. Let me pin it to my profile. And let me... Do you know what? I'll just do this. What am I doing? Chat there. If we could... Where's my profile? Please, everyone, like this. Give me external validation. Tell me that I'm pretty. Tell me on the tweet that I'm pretty, and that you love me, you love my team, and you're confident that I will get a green arrow. Also, make sure to follow me as well. That's my Twitter. Go give me a follow. We are on our way to 100,000 followers, which would be lovely to hit soon. I hope everyone's telling me I look pretty under the tweet. I like your hair. Thank you. You're so hot and I love that team. There we go. Look at all this external validation. This team turns me on. You turn me on. What is this? Oh, do you know what? I give up. I'm sorry. There are 3,000 people watching and it has 100 likes, the tweet. Go like the tweet. I love you, Slug. I love you too, Matt. Pretty damn ugly. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate the kind words. You're beautiful, though. Spread positivity and love. But yeah, I didn't ever claim to be beautiful. I just said, can you tell me that I'm pretty, you know? But that's the team. So let's go back here. 8 points. Where will 8 points put me? Let's have a look. I can have a look at where 8 points would put me. Where I'm... No, I can't actually, can I? 8 points will probably put me like 13, 14k, maybe 15k to start the week. Have to say, mate, you've lost the plot this week. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'd like the tweet, but you didn't say please. Did I not? Oh, I apologize. Terrible manners. What hair product do you use? Just shoe polish. Just shoe polish on my head. You look like Timothy Chalamet. I don't even know how you pronounce that name. Let me Google this guy. Is he ugly? He's got a lot of hair. Oh, I saw this. There was a video of him as a French, like a French bald man that they did the thing. Yeah, okay, I've seen that TikTok. People tag me in that TikTok a lot. Just realized I've got quite big feet. Just say you've got a massive penis, Marcus. That's basically what you're saying there, isn't it? Is that just a massive boast? Apparently everyone's been really nice to me on Twitter. Let's have a look. Okay. Ross, you are amazing, undervalued as a handsome, intelligent man, and your choices are fabulous. Do you know what? Gay is the best person in the world. And she's going to get love hearts. You are very handsome. I love your... Do you know what I love? That people that are on Twitter that aren't tuning into the live stream are just seeing all of these compliments. They're going to have no idea why everyone's being nice. Oh, guys, you crack me up, honestly. Ross, there's always someone out there for you, mate. Oh, God, I hope he doesn't see my tweet. What did you tweet, Frosty? -8 is such a foolish move. Can't believe you got rid of Martinelli. Do you know what? I'm going to block you. Don't make me block you. I don't even know how to pronounce that word, Andrew. Dude, Saka is not on his side. So many others are out of position. I didn't have time. I was making last-minute decisions here. I did not have time. There's some great comments here. Your shoes are cute, and I would take a -8 to see them. What a weird tweet. What shampoo do you use, Rapti? Rapti's a cute name. I have not been called Rapti before. There are some strange questions flying in already. Right, I'm not going to read all of them. I'll read some of these comments later. But I love you all. Thank you for the external validation and for being kind. I'll go back to my team now and answer some of your questions. People join for the FPL. I join for the after party. Damn right. After party's the best part. Smashing the content, Ross. Big thanks from Sid, Australia. I'd need to go to Sydney. I just need to go to Australia in general. Never been to Australia and I've never been to America. What size are your feet, Ross? My feet are size 15 because I am a humongous man with a humongous foot. My feet are size 9. They're not big. The best part of the stream. Thank you, Yelena. Thank you for being here. I'm sure there'll be some Yelena-related questions flying in soon. If someone was to give you a rating on your FPL decisions this week, you would get a -8. Wow. Thank you. What is your favourite sandwich filling? My favourite sandwich filling? Chicken and bacon's a solid shout. I think egg and avocado is a nice combination if it's like a breakfasty one. I'm partial to tuna. I know a lot of other people aren't. Don't mind that. Chicken and bacon's a classic. What do we think? Favourite sandwich filling? I quite like coronation chickens, a shout sometimes. I saw you crying in Sainsbury's because your date was postponed. Just sobbing, trying to pick out my porridge and just sobbing into the porridge. Yeah, that was me. You did see that right. How old were you when you lost your hair? How rude. I've got luscious locks under here. There's a really long hair under here. I just sort of like tuck it back, you know, under the cap. So you just don't see it. But yeah, I've got really long hair. I've got a really good hairline as well. It's like just under the hat. It just perfectly, there's my lovely hairline. Ross, it's been a while, but are we still getting married? Of course we are, Josh. You've proposed to me. You've got to commit to that now. BLT without the lettuce and tomato. Yes, bacon. I kind of fancy a bacon sandwich. Oh, God. Poor Yelena must get bored of some of these messages. You have much in common with Ross from Friends, who is into paleontology and as in Raptor, and he's got a PhD. Yeah, there are a lot of similarities between me and Ross. There are. Obviously the name as well, of course. Your favourite sandwich is Marmite and Wotsits. That's horrific. You should be arrested for that. Yelena doesn't want Ross, but won't let anybody else have him either. What, is she telling me I can't go out? Is that what happened? Are we blaming her? Chicken tikka. Chicken tikka is a shout, but sometimes a bit dry. Depends what chicken tikka, I suppose. Bacon and sausage sarnie is so clear of every other combination. Sarnie is such a British word. If you're not from Britain, I assume you've probably not heard the word sarnie before for a sandwich. Good morning, Ross. Just seen your team on Twitter. Looking good for this week. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. What do you ask for at the barbers, Ross? I just say, make me look like a slug. And there we go. That's what happens. I shave my own head. Screw going to a barber's if you're bald. Just shave your own head. So much easier. Tinned salmon with vinegar and pepper. Interesting. Ross, do you polish your head every day because it's shining? I moisturize, which is why it sometimes gets a bit shiny. Do you want the bald head out? I can get the bald head out, or I can put my cap on that way. People always want to see the bald head. There's the bald head. I look so pale at the moment. This is the issue. I think being bald, also because I've got a light shining in my head, being bald looks decent if you're tanned. But I feel like if you're pale, being bald looks terrible. So there we go. My hat looks weird like that on the stream. Why is everyone pressured to take out Martinelli this week? I don't think anyone's pressured to take out Martinelli this week. I just feel as though if there's a week to do it, it's now. Because you get the extra fixtures for the hit to be made worth it. The longer you leave it, the less it makes sense, which is why people have done it this week, I think. Do you take the tuna out of the tin in the sandwich? Yeah, I don't just put a tin of tuna in bread and just eat the metal. If that's the question. I'm not partial to a metal sandwich. Voldemort and John Joe Shelby's love child. It's just outrageous. Do you give students extra marks if they're bald? No, that would be good though. Bald guys got to stick together. You look good bald like Jason Statham. Thank you. Andrew Tate. I don't look like Andrew Tate. But Andrew Tate is, again, quite tanned, which is why he looks good bald. I feel like you've got to be a little bit more tanned than I'm currently at. In the summer, bald looks great. Talking about relationships and now considering 8-point hits. What the hell, lol. These streams go from very serious to very strange to sexual to just weird comments. There's all sorts going on in these streams. That cap makes it look like you have a reverse R9 cut. In the summer, I was in the sun for too long, and I had like a burnt semicircle here, which was just very attractive. Very attractive. You look way better without the cap. Okay, I can take the cap off. There you go. But don't abuse the pale bald head. Thoughts on the political and economic state of the Democratic Republic of Congo? I'd have to do a bit more research on that, I think. Just one at bingo, seeing the head. Yeah. We should have... Oh my god, that's a great idea. Does anyone want to make an FPL Raptor bingo? An FPL Raptor stream bingo? That would actually be a great... For like a Game Week 38 stream, we could do an FPL Raptor deadline stream bingo. Will there ever be a boy born who can swim faster than a shark? No, I don't think so. Ross, are there any lovely ladies in your Insta DMs yet? You're looking marvelous in your recent posts. Thank you. This is going to make me sound like a player. I'm talking to a few girls, but I'm not like in a player way. Just kind of, I guess it is. It's not really. I've not committed to any direction yet. But yes, having more luck with it. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words about the posts. Can everyone follow my Instagram, by the way? Let me do that. Let me do a little plug now for my Instagram. Let me get it up. Then I want to bring you over here. I'll go Twitter one. Sorry, I've not set anything up for this, but how does that look? Can you see that? There I am. Please go follow the Instagram. Let me copy it into the chat. I'm trying to hit 10,000 followers this year, but no one wants to follow my Instagram. But there's some posts on there. Look, bit of like some thirst trap posts. That's me. That's me. So we can all follow the Instagram. Here we go. But yeah, go follow that. Just real life stuff. It's not necessarily always FPL. I do some FPL related stories, but mainly just real life. Just had to turn the screen brightness down. Why? What, because of my head? Was that an insult? You seem very confident streaming the day before your fight. I don't look like him. I get this. Oh, I get this every single bloody stream. Alex Volkanovski, is it? Volkanovski? I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, go follow the gram. I would very much appreciate it, and I will stop plugging it now. Whoa, the hat is off. The hat is off. I don't know why everyone wants the hat off. It's not a nice look. No one wants to look at my big bald head, but there we go. Is there any stock crypto tips in your stories? I don't really talk about my investment because I don't want to give people advice because I have no idea. My general strategy with investment is dollar cost averaging into stocks. So S&P 500 slowly over time would be the only thing. I'm very boring with investments. I don't invest in cryptocurrency or anything like that. There's such differences in responses. Just back to back, there was Rosh, you're so handsome, and Rosh, you look like Voldemort. How can there be such a contrast in two messages? Oh, Ross, have you made an OnlyFans? How many subscribers? I've not. I don't know if people are joking with that. People generally sign up to that, but it's not going to happen because I feel like you can't have an FPL YouTube channel where you try and give advice and have an OnlyFans. Also, I don't really want to do that, but thank you for asking. Ross, put the hat back on. It's too bright at 5:20 a.m. Fine. Is that better? You look a little bit Russian. Do I? What's your take on Elon Musk? I don't really know. I feel like he will make Twitter better in some ways. I don't know if you're asking about Twitter or just him as a general man. I don't have much of an opinion on him as a man, but Twitter, I think he will generally get... I think he will improve it over time. God, it is very bright, isn't it? Shall I could turn down the light slightly. I don't know. How do you not have girls, mate? Hundreds in your DMs, I'm sure. I really don't have hundreds of girls in my DMs. Listen, number one, I'm not very attractive, but number two, I'm streaming to largely men. Like, if you look at my YouTube analytics, let me get on my YouTube analytics. My YouTube analytics are quite funny. Thank you to everyone that's following me on Instagram. I appreciate that. Let's go. Analytics. Then let's go audience. 97.5% male, 2.5% female. So only 2.5% of the people that watch my videos are female. So that's why. How much for toe picks? £5. Ross, what's your favourite spirit? Spice rum. I assume you're talking about the drink rather than like my favourite holy spirit. My favourite spirit is spice rum. Ross, you are the FPL equivalent of The Rock, muscular, handsome, and world famous. Thank you. Yelena is his only female viewer. Not true. We've got Claudette in the chat. We've got Gay in the chat. We've got... I can't remember if there are any others that I know of, at least. I'd love to introduce you to my sister. Does anyone have a sister? Preferably above the age of kind of, let's say, 21. I'm 25, so, you know. And, yeah, hook me up. Just imagine him being someone's brother-in-law where they've watched my videos and then introduced me to their sister. That's pretty funny. I think the chat is badly in need of a psychologist. Where would we find one of those, though, Robert? You will get the best girlfriend this year. Be happy. Thank you. Your football skills are fire. I try. Yes, Sophie's in the chat as well. There you go. Sophie, part of the 2.5%. No, on Instagram, it's about 3 or 4% of my followers are female, apparently. What's your job, Raptor? I am a lecturer in sports psychology. I was born a man but identify as a woman. There we go. See, there's not just one or two. We have multiple in the chat. Will you be at London FPL meets? Maybe. I am planning to come to London on the 18th. I might be able to get tickets to a game, so I'm waiting to find out about that. But if not, I might go to the FPL meets, yeah. Ross, have you ever taken drugs? No, I've not taken a single drug before in my life. Well, apart from alcohol, if you class that as a drug, or paracetamol. No, but no to everything else. Ross is the type of guy to say cheese before he goes to bed. What do you mean say who says cheese before bed? Or are you saying like say cheesy things? I don't know what you're suggesting there, Alex. Elaborate. Elaborate. Is this an insult or what? Right. If I get called this guy once more, every single stream I have to bring up a picture of him because everyone says I look like him and I don't look like him, but I kind of do. I kind of see it. He's probably in better shape than I am. This guy. You going to be able to see that if I switched like this? You're not going to be able to see that there. It's the... I think there's a bit of similarity. Apparently I look like him. So... And apparently he's fighting tomorrow as well. Not that I watch UFC, so I wouldn't know, but... Yeah. Why is this stream still on, though? Because I enjoy chatting after the stream. Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, Ross? I don't know whether to be entirely honest with the chat, but I don't want to get abused. I feel like this is something that I don't usually say in public. I've never seen any of the Star Wars films. So please don't dislike the stream as a result. Don't tune out. But yes, my answer would be Lord of the Rings as a result. You're 25. Yeah, I know. I've had a tough few years playing FPL. Before I started playing FPL, I had a full head of hair. I had all of the women in the world. Easy. Now I play FPL. I've gone bald. I'm tired. Can't get the ladies. This is what FPL does to you. Would you rather be single for life or win FPL this year? Wait, I assume you mean, would I win FPL this year and as a result be single for life? Because if I'm choosing between being single or winning FPL, then I'll choose win FPL. Would I win FPL at the sacrifice? No. Winning FPL is not that important. Would you date a student? I'm technically a student. So yes, I would date a student because I'm a student. I'm a student that lectures. I'm a PhD student, aren't I? Are you doing Game Week 39 this year? I don't actually know. I need to think about that, pros and cons and all that stuff. I expected your female following on Instagram to be much higher. So did I, but recently to work with a company or a brand, potentially, they wanted a screenshot of like the analytics for Instagram. And again, it's mostly men. So you can borrow Ralph for your next photo shoot. I would love that. That would get so many likes, mainly because of Ralph. I don't even need to be in it. Can I just take a picture of Ralph and just upload that? I've got a question. I've just heard about imposter syndrome. Do you have any advice for overcoming it? Yes. My advice would be to speak to someone that knows about your journey to get to where you are and knows about your skill level and success, because the likelihood is that it's a delusion. You're not actually, like, you do deserve to be where you are. You are successful enough. You are talented enough to be in whatever position you're in. You just need someone to tell you that. And once they tell you that, you can start to believe it. But yeah, everyone gets that feeling of imposter syndrome. Absolutely. You won't be the only one. Especially when you first start something, like when you first start a PhD or when you first start your YouTube channel, you might feel a little bit like you've got imposter syndrome. Do you watch F1? I've watched Drive to Survive, and I'm going to start watching F1 this year with the support of Yelena, because she's an F1 expert, and I'm going to try and get into it. But I haven't seen any of the lead up to this season, because I kind of want to see the latest Drive to Survive season. I know it doesn't paint the complete picture, but because I didn't obviously watch it last year, it would be nice to see that before I start looking at who's in each team, looking at the cars, stuff like that. So, yes, I will be watching it for the first time this season. I've still not decided about F1 Fantasy. I quite like the idea of just watching F1 and having fun. I feel like Fantasy all of a sudden makes it another stressful thing at the weekend to try and do well. So I might just watch F1 this year and not play Fantasy and just try and enjoy the sport. But yeah. If you were a pizza, what kind of pizza would you be? It's a good question. I don't know how to answer that. Something spicy. Hello, Ross. After deadline is the best time to join. Absolutely. Looks like the chat have pressured Ross into taking off his hat. I did get pressured into taking off the hat. I feel like we should cover up their head a little bit. We don't want to give too much. There we go. Did you quit your job to do this, or is this your job? James starts. Success. Let me quickly get that. Sorry, I was really behind on the chat. I was trying to catch up with everything. This is not my job. This is I do this part-time. So, what am I doing? No, Chelsea. Yeah, it's part-time. Oh, my camera's gone. It's part-time, and my job is as a lecturer, and then I'm doing a PhD as well. Here we go. So Badia Shield starts, James starts, Kepa starts, Mudryk starts, Felix starts. Pretty much everyone you would expect. That's a very strong team, to be fair, for Chelsea. Right, where was I? Raptor and Yelena Silverstone vlog this year. Yes, so I'm trying to speak to my agent to try and get some sort of F1 opportunity, because I'd love to go, even if it's not a race, like just go to an event of some kind. So if I do go to an F1 event, yeah, Yelena would come with me, and we'll do some sort of vlog of some kind. not that I think I'd be particularly great at vlogging, but we'll see. Last time I went to one was in 2007. Monaco was my favourite to visit. Worst to watch, though. I'm just excited to have another sport to watch as well, because all my life I've pretty much only watched football. So it'd be nice to get into another sport. I love F1. I don't watch anything until they head to the winter testing. That's the first look I have at the cars and drivers. Yeah, so Drive to Survive, I think, comes out... I don't know when it comes out, to be honest. Is it March? It's like a week before the season starts, I think. You are not on the camera. Yeah, I know. I'm just resetting my camera. Oh yeah, Mason Mount is benched. Yeah, that's true. Let me try and turn the camera back on. Sometimes when it gets towards the end of a stream, it needs like a couple of minutes, but we'll see if this works this time. Cool, there we are. You've got an agent, man got real. Yes, I've had an agent since August. My agent's name is Toby. I could show you that, actually. Let me do that. That's quite fun for Inter Talent. Here we go. Can you see that? There you go, FPL Raptor. There's some pictures of me floating around down there. That's me. That's me. So yeah, I'm with a company called Intertalent. There's your boy. There's FPL Raptor. So I don't know where that came. Oh, someone asked a question, didn't they? That's why. How much is your ideal camera? My ideal camera is £2,500. But this camera that I've got was like 500 or 600. I don't think it's an issue with the camera. I think it's an issue with the cable or the connection into the computer, because the camera on my old laptop didn't freeze. So I think I just need to work it out. I'll probably do it over the summer, and I'll have a play around with some different cables. I'll have a play around with the camera, and if it is really, really bad, I'll buy a new one. Don't worry. Going into next season, I will not be having issues with my camera. I promise. 24th of February, I think Drive to Survive premieres. Perfect. I will be watching that immediately. You should ask your agent to sort you out a new camera. Toby, get it done. Yeah, I should, shouldn't I? Let me speak to Sony and see if they'll send me a new camera. What does your agent do for you? An agent will bring potential sponsorships to the table and negotiate on your behalf. Because as a person, it's difficult to ask for more money, because it almost feels like you're haggling. Like, oh, they offer you this money. You go, actually, can I have an extra X, Y, Z? It feels like it doesn't feel right. And whereas an agent on your behalf can say, my client is worth this much, and then ask for that much. But then they obviously take a percentage of it. So it's been nice. It means I don't have to stress about any of that stuff. If a company or brand want to work with me, Toby can deal with it. It's essentially the way it works. Who is your go-to FPL content creator? I don't really have a go-to FPL content creator, but probably if I could only watch one piece of content every week, it would probably be the FPL Wire. The reason for that is I very, very much trust Zof and Pranil. I think they are two top managers, and they always speak a lot of sense. And I don't get the sense with those two that they're biased towards their own team. They'll still present all of the options and discuss it. Yeah, so Zof and Pranil are the two that I'd probably trust more than most, and I like their content as well. Your FPL rank is the number of girls I get every week. Would you like any tips? Yes, please give me tips. Please give me tips. That sounds wrong. Yes, give me tips on how to get 8,317 girls every week. Who do you want to win the F1 this season? Well, so I've only watched Drive to Survive. So again, I've not got a complete picture of it, and I've not watched the most recent season. Who do I like, though? I feel like this is a controversial thing. I don't know if it's controversial. Again, I've not followed. I like Lando Norris. I don't even know what happened last year. Obviously, I haven't seen the last year's season. I know everyone loves Daniel Ricciardo. I'm a bit hit and miss. I can't tell whether he's just like cheeky and charming or whether he literally is the most cocky person I've ever met. But he's obviously got quite a good personality. Because I'm not massively into F1, I can't really base it necessarily on the racing as such. I really like Lando Norris. I don't know why. I just feel like he's very sort of, I don't know. I feel like he's a little bit nicer. Maybe I've got the wrong impression. I feel like Drive to Survive paints a certain picture. And I was discussing this with Yelena. Drive to Survive clearly hate Max Verstappen. Now, I know a lot of people hate him as well, but the way that they present him in that, they don't put him in a positive light at any point. They always make him sound like the bad guy. So I feel like they decide who they want you to like and who they don't. So I feel like I need to give it a season before I start deciding. Carlos Sainz I thought was okay. I'm trying to think. I stopped watching it. Oh, okay. I feel like I'm getting spoilers here. Ricardo isn't driving anymore. That will take a knock to his confidence then. Lando is a gun driver with a lot of potential. I feel like I need to get into the sport more, to be honest. A lot of people like Lewis Hamilton in here, potentially. I don't know. I feel like he's not got much about him, Hamilton. I feel like his personality's a bit... It's like a bit of a wet wipe. It's just a bit... I don't know. Just when I listen to him do interviews and stuff, I just get a bit bored. But yes, I need to basically catch up on the latest season. Marcus Alonso is the GOAT and also very handsome. I feel like you can't be an F1 driver unless you're beautiful. There aren't very, very many ugly F1 drivers, are there? Valtteri Bottas. Honestly, the funniest scene in Drive to Survive is just when they just zoom in on Bottas's naked bum. Like, why? What was the reason for that? I love Steiner as well from Haas, I think, but I don't necessarily like the team or the drivers. I just think he's amazing. Kimi Räikkönen is the GOAT. Oh yeah, I like Charles Leclerc. I like him as well. Or Charles Leclerc, I think. Yeah, probably Charles Leclerc or Lando Norris would be my favourite two. The two young guys. But again, I know absolutely nothing. I've literally just watched the series on Netflix. So join us on the Ferrari pain train. Yeah, it's not gone well, has it, in recent years for Ferrari? How come you're still streaming? I always still stream post deadline every single week. Lando is quite good on Twitch and YouTube. That's why I liked Lando. I remember in Drive to Survive, he said something about through lockdown, he was streaming. And I like that. If he's into YouTube and Twitch, I feel like that's quite cool. Should I try and get Lando on the channel? I've seen him do a few collaborations, Lando Norris. He does collab with other content creators. Do you reckon Lando Norris plays FPL? Shall I send his agent a message? Can you imagine that? That would be good. Ross, what city do you live in? I live in Nottingham. I'm from Essex. I was born in Essex, and well, I was born in Hertfordshire, but I lived in Essex my whole life, and I live in Nottingham now. Okay, looks like everyone in the chat hates Max Verstappen, so maybe Drive to Survive was accurate in the portrayal of him. Do you like MotoGP? I don't mind it. My dad used to watch it a lot, and back when is it Valentino Rossi was big. That was when kind of I grew up watching it, but I don't watch it anymore. Who is your favorite actress? I don't know. Probably Rachel McAdams. I think she's absolutely gorgeous, but also she's just a fantastic actress as well. So I'll go Rachel McAdams as my favorite actress. But she is also in a lot of kind of naff films, so it's kind of a bit hit and miss, I suppose. Are you ever tempted to do something utterly crazy, like not plug your phone in at night? No. I'm not that crazy, Marcus. I'm not that crazy. How long have you been playing FPL? About 6 or 7 years casually, about 3 years enough to really care about rank and stuff like that. So not that long. Brie Larson, yeah, she's great. I like her as well. All of the sort of Avengers, Marvel actresses are fantastic, obviously. Have you watched Glass Onion on Netflix? I have not. Rachel McAdams is Canadian. I know she is. She is indeed, isn't she? Ross, great fan of you. Love from Nepal. Already triple captain Haaland this week. What do you think? Sounds good, Sanjay. Best of luck. Hopefully he tears Villa apart and then you've got the extra fixture in Arsenal. Ross, what was your transfers? As an Arsenal fan, I think Trossard can take minutes off anyone of the front three, not just Martinelli. Trossard only plays really well on the left, though. That's the thing. So I brought in Erdegaard, Saka, and Kilman for Fernandes, Martinelli, and White. Are you a Man United fan? Yes, I support Manchester United. Went to the game on Wednesday against Leeds. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but there we go. Can you show your bus team now? The game is updated. Yes, let's go for it. Let's do it. Why are you not? Here we go. Right, Bamford comes in. Oh, that's a tough one. Kilman against Bournemouth at home. Oh, God, I've got a couple of headaches there. The first headache is Kilman. I really do want Kilman in there. But I can't bench Trippier, can I? Oh, that would feel wrong. Then the other decision is Kepa or Edison. Did you get around to checking out Akala, the British rapper? I didn't, but I'm going to make a note. So thank you for the super chat, Andy. Let me do that now. Right, I've made a note. Tune into the next stream and I would have done so. Has to be Kepa. Yeah, I guess it is at the City ground, isn't it? I'll tell you what, again, that's looking like a close to a bench boost. Let's do that for now. Kepa at home, is that a serious question? Claudette says, yeah, I think so. I'd go Kepa. We know what Forest are like at home. This is true, but do you not want me to bench Kepa so that you get Kepa points? If you cared about your team, you would tell me to bench Kepa. That team looks really nice, though, doesn't it? Team looking strong. I know I've taken a -8, but I'm so happy with my team moving forward now. Otherwise, each week I would just be looking at my team and thinking I'm not quite happy with it. I really am happy now with that team. Yeah, I am. I don't know. There's justification to not captain Haaland. Nottingham Forest are that good at home. But I just think if City get an early goal, it could be a bit of a bloodbath still. I guess there aren't that many good options outside of that. I might be able to see how far I've dropped, but no, not yet. I wonder how far I've dropped by taking the -8 at the start of the week. Even with Bamford in it. I think Bamford against Everton's fine. I could just play Trippier instead of Bamford, but I think Bamford, again, he's on pens. Decent data when he plays. Ross, what music do you listen to and who's your favourite artist at the moment? I'll go anywhere between kind of indie folk music, like relaxed vibe, to rap. So it'll be either or. There's no in between, really. So Dave is always probably my favourite artist. Or Duke Ross. If you've not listened to Duke Ross, listen to Duke Ross. And also a great name. Will you be below 10k now? Yeah, I'll probably be like 15k going into the week. Because I took an 8-point hit. Benching Trippier against Liverpool, which rock have you been living under recently? Liverpool have the third best data from an attacking perspective since the World Cup. And across the season, they're top 5, top 6. Liverpool are a very good attack. I won't accept that they don't attack well and that they don't get chances. They've struggled to finish them recently. And I think they are terrible defensively. But I would expect them to get at Newcastle. But yeah, I'd probably end up starting Trippier, to be honest. Bit of Tracy Chapman, yeah. Who doesn't enjoy a bit of Tracy Chapman? Ross, how do you manage to get such a good rank? Just across the season, made some good decisions, I guess. Have you seen Salah's data the last 3 weeks? He's dropped off a cliff. 3 weeks just feels like not enough to look at, though. I would look at, since post-World Cup, it's still not great, but it's fine. Across the season, it's still okay. Did you celebrate Bamford's assist? I'm afraid for your safety if you did. No, I didn't. I was just so shocked within a minute that we'd conceded. Within a minute. I would always put Man United first. Obviously, it was nice that Bamford was involved in some regard, but no, I didn't celebrate. See, I don't think I need to make a transfer in game week 24. Then the plan for game week 25... So let's say I don't make a transfer in 24. For 25, I'd have 2.2 million in the bank. And I want Darwin and or Salah. But I probably also want to remove Castagna. I can bench Rashford, Trippier and Shaw. So I think for game week 25, I'd be tempted by something like... And I know people are going to hate this. I would be tempted by something like... and then in there, it will be someone probably like Tark. So it would only be a -4 in game week 25, right? That's not in 24 I'm planning that. So it would be like Castagna, De Bruyne, Bamford, Tarkowski, Salah, Darwin. I think I would be planning something along those lines in game week 25, which would give me an extra 3 fixtures. One extra for Salah, one for Darwin, and one for Tarkowski. That would then also give me a double game week player in Tarkowski, Kilman, Erdegaard, Saka, Salah, Darwin, and Ketia. I would have 7 double game week players in 25. I think that's perfect for me. But obviously, I don't have to worry about that now. That's in a few weeks, right? I've still got game week 24 to get through. Anything could happen this week. I don't like benching Ederson against Nottingham Forest at all, but we'll see. I would personally avoid Liverpool for the double game week. It could be a trap. You could say that about any player in any game week, that it could be a trap. I think that Liverpool are still attacking well, and I want to own at least one of Darwin or Salah. It's a nice double game week. If they take their chances, which is a big if, then I would expect them to do fairly well. They will get chances to score goals. And I'm taking out De Bruyne against Bournemouth isn't great, but then I'd be taking out Bamford, which is fine. I feel like that's an upgrade for Salah and Darwin. And also getting in Tarkowski for Castagna. I feel like that'd be a good set of transfers. Do you regret the rotating goalkeepers? I think you said before you'd do it again. I would do it again, but I wouldn't do it with a low upside keeper like Ederson. I think the issue that I've found is that even if Ederson keeps a clean sheet, if Kepa keeps a clean sheet on the bench, he's going to outscore him. So I think something like a Kepa and Ramsdale or a Kepa and Raya, I think that's fine still. I would do that again, especially for double game weeks. I don't like rotating keepers just in single game weeks, but I feel like if you're getting extra fixtures by having, if their doubles rotate really nicely, I think that's fine. But yeah, I wouldn't go for someone like an Ederson again, I don't think. Guys, don't make arguments against FPL YouTubers. They will always refute you. It's not about refuting, but if someone's going to tell me I've made a bad decision, I'll explain why I don't think that's a bad decision. It's not me being stubborn, and I'll hold my hands up when I have made, but I'm not going to sit here and say I agree with you that I've just made a terrible decision, because otherwise I wouldn't have made that decision, right? It's like justifying and explaining it. Kepa for Pope next week. What do you mean Kepa for Pope next week? Would you buy Kepa and sell Pope? I would do it in 25. I don't feel like you necessarily need to do it in game 24. Do you have a nap after streaming? I feel exhausted after watching for 3 hours. I am quite tired after a 3-hour stream. I don't think, unless you've ever done it before, I don't think people realize what it's like to speak for 3 hours straight and not take a break. Because even I think when like gamers stream, they don't have to speak constantly because they're gaming. So I think FPL is arguably the only stream, the only one of very few streams at least, where you have to talk non-stop. And I know people say take a break, but if I sat here for longer than 10 seconds without speaking, it's just, there's nothing going on the screen. Like I say, when you're gaming, there's something interesting on the screen. So, yes. Basically it is tired. 3 hour stream. This is why there are no other FPL YouTubers that stream for 3 hours. The longest other stream you'll see is Harry does a 2 hour stream. No other FPL YouTuber goes close for 3 hours because it's tiring. But again, I'm a lecturer, so I'm used to lecturing for a couple of hours as well. Sometimes I lecture for like 6 to 8 hours a day. I show speed. Yeah, but I show speed does stupid stuff on camera. He screams and then he'll stop and then he'll play a game and he'll FaceTime someone else where he chats. There is no one else to speak to here. I have to speak at the camera constantly. That's why I'm saying that there's no break because there's nothing entertaining about the screen. There's nothing entertaining about what's going on here. It's all got to come from what I'm doing. So there's pressure to make it as entertaining as possible. Dylan goes on for a while too. Yeah, sometimes Dylan, but does he start 2 hours before the stream? I don't know. FPL Mate doesn't stream for 3 hours. He streams for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Have you ever thought about doing any gaming streams? I've thought about it. I'd need to set up all the equipment. My internet's not very good where I'm living at the moment. Gaming streams would be something like 2.5, 3 years once I finish my PhD. If I'm still enjoying YouTube and I want to go full time and I maybe want to get an extra source of income and do like Twitch or something, then yeah, I might stream gaming in the future, but it won't be for a while. Wait, Rush, you know about Dylan RCM? Yeah, I know about every FPL YouTuber. It's called market research. I know every single FPL YouTuber. I know how many views they get. I know how many comments they get. I know their like ratios to dislike. You can get an ad. You can get an extension. I know everything about every other FPL YouTuber. If you want to be successful at YouTube, you need to know, it's not necessarily competition, but you need to know what others are doing, if they're doing it well, what times they upload. It's a lot more goes into FPL, a lot more goes into YouTube than just recording a video and uploading it. If you want to do well. Of course, you can just upload videos just whenever you want and just not focus on other people. But if you want to do it well, then you need to look at what others are doing as well. What was this poll? I'll end that poll. How do you get into a flow state, Ross? There are ways to get into a flow state, but it usually needs to be something that you enjoy and that you can do basically implicitly. So it's about that implicit processing where you don't need to think about that thing. So if it's like, it's normally got to be quite a simple task and something that can be repeated. If it's something that's really complex and something you need to think about, that's when you can't get into a flow state. So it really depends on what you're doing, more so than trying to get into it on a complex task. Ross, are you trying to become the ultimate FPL YouTuber and then take over the world and leave no other FPL streamers behind? Absolutely, I'm trying to take over the world. Damn right. I've been a big fan of Dylan's, been in the streams from when he had about 40 viewers, so it's been great to watch him grow. Yeah, he's doing well. He's doing well. I beg to differ, your presence is engaging. You should do a 10-minute freeze frames. Thank you, Claudette, I appreciate it. Right, I think this is probably the time when we say goodbye then. My camera will probably die in a second anyway. Been going for over 3 hours. So I might get a McDonald's, might get some chicken selects. You know how much I love my chicken selects. But thank you very much for being here as always. Like I said, make sure to tune into my video on Sunday or Monday, I'm not sure yet, where I'm going to go through chip strategy and how to navigate the upcoming blanks and doubles, because I think with the new announcements, it's going to be very difficult to do, and I want to try and help you guys as much as possible. So, thank you for being here. Good luck for GameWeek23. Fingers crossed my -8 pays off. Regardless, the content should be entertaining, because if it goes well, I'll be happy. If it goes poorly, then you can all laugh at me. So, thank you very much, and until next time, cheers.